Mayor of Hartford, Arunan Arulampalam, will join us in studio for an hour, get a checkup on the administration, how the city's doing, how the school year started, a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We start at 5:30. All your news, weather, and traffic, all the way to 9 o'clock. It's Brian and Company, right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Does your job require you to be on your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get us through the day. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real customer of the Good Feet store who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the three-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet store. Learn more at goodfeet.com. We're located in Avon at 25 Climax Road across from Whole Foods. Good Feet Arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Schedule your free test walk at goodfeet.com.
Hey, it's Tom Shep.
1 minute.
Lost 40
Thank you,
pounds
sir.
with Awaken 180 was in the same position I was in. You're most likely in. Confused.
I spent so much money on
Michael
personal
B.
trainers in the last
Hello,
10
sir.
years. Didn't have a lot of discretionary income left. So I tried to listen to everybody else. What do you eat? You know, everyone said, eat healthy. Define eating healthy. Cut out sugar. Tell me what foods don't have sugar. So their process to me was an education. That was really the eye-opening thing to me is I had 10 choices of food in front of me every day. You know, when I was on the run in sales, I was making 8 bad choices. I wasn't eating the 2 good ones. And I loved the 2 good ones. I just didn't know they were good. So I made bad choices every single day. In the program, an Awaken 180, really changed my mind, opened my eyes up to, it was a true education on food, what to eat, what not to eat, and it's been fantastic.
Knowing what to eat.
And 10.
Nutrition labels, a proven, clear path for weight loss, and exactly what you will receive with Awaken 180. Leave confusion at the door and do what we did. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It is outrageous that our government would ever entertain the thought of granting the terrorists a plea deal. If not for the outcry of the 9/11 community, who knows what might have transpired. It has been 23 years, and the families deserve justice and accountability. The elected officials here today show their respect and reverence to the families on September 11th. Or, in our president's words, do 9/11. Quite a flippant remark. But please remember that the September 11th families live it every day, not just on the anniversary.
Yeah. A somber anniversary. But we get up every day ready to crack this mic for you. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC, filling in for Todd Feinberg on this September 11th, 2024. 23 years later from the probably the most devastating day in our history. Not January 6th, Kamala, not January 6th. September 11th, 2001. By the way, Rolo, I just got your message, and yes, I will let everybody know to pray for Rolo out in California, but we'll get to that in a moment. Please be careful. I'll explain later. Let me tell you this. This is a somber anniversary for yours truly, your host, Reese on the Radio. This day, 23 years ago, I began my career. Again, as a lowly intern for a morning show in New York. And on this day, 23 years ago, I witnessed something that scared me to my core, as it did many of you. When I say I was shaking, I don't mean this in any tongue-in-cheek way, but I want to tell you how scared I am. And many of you might relate to what I'm about to tell you. When I watched that plane, the second plane, hit the South Tower 23 years ago today, I was so afraid. My heart was racing, my blood pressure up, and the muscle in my right cheekbone, my rear end, started to shake. I don't know if you remember that when you were a child, where something would scare you so much and you would shake you'd have this involuntary shaking sensation in your leg. I used to get it in my right cheek, in my rear end, whenever I was afraid. And that's how nervous I was, because I didn't know what was going on. All I know was that I just witnessed something, probably the worst experience I ever saw I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I didn't know what to do. I'm sitting in a building in Lower Manhattan. This is happening a mile south from me. And I was scared. And so for somebody to grab me by my shoulders, and I'll never forget him. He and I don't talk much today. I don't even know whether or not we're still cool, but his name is Reginald Hawkins. We used to call him Sergeant Reginald Hawkins. He was the one. I applaud him because he was the one who had faith in me. He was the associate producer of the morning show, and he grabbed me by my shoulders like you would grab a frantic person. He grabbed me by my two shoulders, and he said, "What did you see?" And I told him. And he said, "You got to go on the air, and you got to tell them." And I went, "I'm not doing that." He goes, "You have to. You're a witness." And he marched me into that studio, and that morning I sat down, and I was on the air. I sat in that chair, with the exception of bathroom breaks, that morning, just after 9:30, 9:40, got on the air and did not get off the air until 10 p.m. that night. 10 p.m. that night. I shared the microphone with Curtis Sliwa's ex-wife, Lisa Evers. You might have heard of her. And I can't remember Sonny's last name, but she was Sonny. She was a talk show host back in the days, but now she has a show on the Food Network. Some of you ladies and gentlemen who watch the Food Network, you'll remember Sonny. Light-skinned African-American girl, very curly hair. But Sonny, if you've seen her on the Food Network, that was her. She and I. And I remember how frantic Sonny was because her parents lived in Crystal City, right across from the Pentagon in D.C. And I remember how scared she was. But myself and Lisa Evers were on that microphone together until 10 p.m. And I will never forget that. Not Sonny Anderson. She and I shared that microphone. And she's a powerhouse. She's, with Fox News in New York, WNYW. Big name in broadcasting. But that was my trial by fire on September 11th. And so this day is significant to me just because I've always loved radio. I always wanted to be on the radio. And this was my debut, almost by accident. And I will always appreciate the importance of cracking this microphone because of that day. I almost feel like it was divine. God wanted me to get on the microphone and talk about something on the radio that was significant and be able to hold my own, and I'll never forget that day as long as I live. And of course, those who have lost their lives and the family members who lost loved ones on that day. I said in New York that if you lived in New York and you knew anybody in the world, you were at least 1 to 2 people removed from somebody who was affected by the World Trade Center coming down. And I think that still holds true to this day. So we remember them as we should, as everyone should. It was the first tragedy of the 21st century. And I hope it never ever gets that bad again. So, anyway, that being said, I think it's only appropriate that we get into what happened last night. Because that's what everyone's talking about. And I listen to shows reluctantly after big events because I don't want anybody shaping my view. I don't ever want to find myself tapping into what they've said in any way. But I loved everyone's show today. Everybody's show was fantastic. It was chock full of intellect, intrigue, speculation, analysis. I loved them all. And I totally appreciate everyone. It's no critique. I'm not critiquing. I'm not even saying it in a sly way. I loved every bit of what I got an opportunity to listen to today. But I got to do something that I normally don't do because I consider myself a humble person. Not really. I consider myself a humble person, but I'm going to try not to break my arm as I pat myself on the back. Ladies and gentlemen, I direct you to 24 hours ago, yesterday, on this very network, on this very show. Think anybody's paying attention to ABC, NBC, and CBS? Yes, they are. They've got the tens of millions of people who watch their network. I think at last, one of the highest ratings for David Muir was somewhere up in the 10 million. Lester Holt just behind him on 8, 9 million. You don't see those numbers in cable news because a lot of people who watch the news, they're still in analog. They're not in the digital age. They're not in the streaming age. A lot of Americans are just not there, and a lot of Americans have basic cable. So they watch the basic network news programs. They do. And they've got a cushion. They're competing with the big dogs. NBC, ABC, CBS. They're competing with each other. They're not competing with Fox and CNN. So they don't have to play it down the line. Newsbusters. Go to their website, newsbusters.org. 100% of their coverage is positive for Kamala Harris, just released today. More than 95% of their coverage negative towards Donald Trump. Do you think tonight they're going to decide to play it down the middle? They don't have to care. They know the guys that they're beating double in the ratings are going to be talking about them tonight and tomorrow. ABC News isn't, they don't care what Fox News says about them tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, don't worry about it, Fox. I know you're beating those guys over in the cable news network. So what? You're never going to have 10 million viewers over here like David Muir. So get ready for that. All of you should be ready for that. The objective for ABC News is to make sure that Kamala Harris is saved. To them, they believe CNN was complicit in destroying the candidacy of Joe Biden. Okay? Everybody up to snuff now? So everyone last night or the day before who were wondering whether or not ABC News, all anticipating, will they play it down the line? Will they be fair and objective? Come on. They didn't need to be. They have a role to play. It wasn't like Donald Trump didn't tell everybody over the past 2 weeks, best friends of the candidate he's running against at ABC News, Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris, best friends with the folks over at the brass over at ABC News. You didn't think it was going to happen? It was absolutely insane. I said this on the post-debate show afterwards. You should go check it out. You notice, if you've seen a Donald Trump rally, at the end of some of the rallies, he reads that story about the snake. Yeah, it's a great song. We talk about it here. It's that great song and parable about the snake. Everybody was thinking that ABC News was going to behave like a frog, knowing damn well that they're snakes. They did what they were supposed to do. Save the Kamala Harris campaign. It's ABC. And I'll put any amount of money on it. Okay, man, not any amount of money, but I'll put a substantial amount of money on it. Who wants to make a bet that the questions of last night's debate were written by none other than George Stephanopoulos? Who believes it? How? Who's with me? You don't think George Stephanopoulos wrote some of those questions last night? I thought I was listening to George Stephanopoulos. Donald Trump is suing him for defamation. The whole network's got an axe to grind. I wouldn't buy. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't doubt it 1 minute. And I don't want to sound weird or anything, but anybody notice those earrings that she was wearing? Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Before people start screaming and hollering, I don't want to start anything. I don't want to start anything. They were pretty earrings, though, weren't they? You know, with the little pearls on the end. Very cute. It's a good look for Kamala. She may want to rock those again, especially if there's another debate. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get to the phones. Just because I got so many audio sound bites to get into and so much analysis, you're going to love today's show. I promise you. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. How are we doing, Sean?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, very good.
I don't know what people are thinking when, like you said this very, very clearly. 100% of coverage of Kamala has been positive by ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a god, which they think that they are, there's no way you get 100% anything.
That's right.
And 93% negative, and yet they're acting like President Trump should have gone in there like milk toast, and he was really polite, all things considered.
Oh yeah.
But when you get attacked to a certain point, you stand up and you stand your ground. And what the other thing that people in my opinion should notice is how she didn't stand hers for America. She standed hers for Kamala, but not for America.
Oh yeah. Well,
and
listen. Her objective, Sean, was she had to do two things last night. One, she had to avoid any tough questions by indicting Donald Trump. That was the purpose, and that was the coordination, if you will, of ABC News commentators and Kamala Harris. Ben Shapiro said it on his live broadcast last night. It was, Donald Trump, why are you so evil? Kamala, question to you, why is Donald Trump so evil? It's like that's the way in which they carried this whole event. And I have the audio sound bites to back it up because that's what it was. So Donald Trump was forced into fights he didn't need, and then people are complaining that Donald Trump engaged in the fight, which makes no sense, right? It's like somebody coming up to you and pulling out a knife, and Donald Trump sees the knife and pulls one, and they go, oh, why did he pull the knife? I'm like, they pulled the knife on him. It's always about Donald Trump responding to them, but they pay attention to Donald Trump's response instead of what's actually happening to him, because everyone else gets a pass because Donald Trump is the boogeyman. And I'll get into that a little bit as well. Sean, last word.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Last thing I want to say is, here's the deal, too. President Trump has taken all this bull crap, and I'm being polite on the word.
Yes, please.
For 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
When everything he said about the FBI and about the White House coordinating and everything else, the lawsuits and stuff like that, everything has been proven true that he said. But and he's done it all for free.
Yep. Indeed.
Because he donated his salary to charities, and yet the people who are making millions off the wars and off the other stuff, and I love this point. 3 days after Kamala Harris goes into Ukraine and Russia to negotiate a peace treaty, war breaks out and Russia invades Ukraine.
Exactly.
On that.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I've got no problem. Let me see if I can get Ralph. Can I get you in for 1 minute? Go for it, sir.
I wish we had a little more time. Do
you want to hold off Ralph? Do you want to hold off to the other side?
Yes, sir. I definitely would.
Okay. Ralph, we'll put you on hold, and I appreciate you being so patient. By the way, you were 100% right in the chat room. Yes, Sunny Anderson is the young lady's name. I totally forgot. I was thinking of the woman who sang that song, Roland, what's it called? Heard It All Before? Sunshine Anderson. That's who I was getting confused, but yes, Sunny Anderson is the young lady I was talking about. Sunny Anderson from the Food Network. She used to work, she worked at, in fact, the day of Hot 97, the day that she started working at that network, or I should say the year she ended up working at the network was, of course, 2001, right before September 11th. And yeah, she was on the air. In fact, her shift started at 9 a.m. after the morning show, and she was on from like 9 to 2, I think, that day. And she stayed on the air with myself and Lisa Evers that day. But that's correct. Sunny Anderson, that's her name. I totally forgot her last name. But yeah, somebody just sent it to me. And Julie B., you were 100% right. That is her. We'll take a break. We got to come back, and we'll go to Ralph and Tony, who's calling in Southington, when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital.
I'm going to get water. I'll be right back.
And there are no prescribed treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-520-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-520-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 77 degrees at 3:30 under sunny skies. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Americans have paused to remember the nearly 3,000 who died at the hands of terrorists on this date 23 years ago. A ceremony in Lower Manhattan took place at the precise time the first plane hit one of the World Trade Center towers on September 11th, 2001. Ceremonies were also held at the Pentagon and this afternoon in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where other planes went down. There was a ceremony earlier today at the Connecticut Fire Academy in Windsor Locks. Flags in Connecticut will fly at half-staff through dusk. The state has logged the first animal case of eastern equine encephalitis, that from the Department of Agriculture. It says Triple E was detected in an unvaccinated gelded horse in Fairfield County. 23-year-old horse was experiencing neurological signs and ultimately tested positive. There have been no cases of the mosquito-borne illness in our state so far this year. Persons in the hospital following a shooting in Norwalk. Police say they got the call to an area of Strawberry Hill Avenue just before 9:30 last night. The victim had already been taken to Norwalk Hospital by the time police arrived and is listed in serious condition. Election officials across the U.S. are warning that problems with the nation's mail delivery system threaten to disenfranchise voters in the upcoming presidential election. And Secretary of State Blinken announcing more than $700 million in aid for Ukraine during a visit to Kyiv, aiming to bolster the energy grid that Russia has repeatedly pounded ahead of an expected difficult winter. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Jason Catarino with the forecast.
For the rest of the afternoon, it'll be partly sunny and gorgeous with that high temperature of 80. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy skies, some patchy fog forming late, the low down to 51. We'll have patchy fog Thursday morning, otherwise a mostly sunny and beautiful day, the high of 83. Patchy morning fog again on Friday, otherwise partly sunny and very warm rounding out the week, the high of 88. Saturday, beautiful start to the weekend, mostly sunny, the high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow is up 71 points, the Nasdaq's ahead 312, and the S&P is up 45 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
With Aer Lingus and Bradley International Airport, your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Fly non-stop from Hartford to Dublin with great fares available now. And since Dublin is our European hub, make your trip 20 times more fun with connections to over 20 cities across Europe, including London, Paris, and Rome. From epic coastlines to city tram lines, you can explore it all. Visit airlingus.com to book your flights today.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
WTIC AM, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at our station. We seek the help of local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should call Stephanie Gragan at 804-474-0010. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special, both for you and your partner. At Northeast Men's Health, we're the leader in treating ED in the area. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you.
By the end of the 20s, radio was a recognized force, and so was WTIC. It was clear that the 500-watt transmitter the station was broadcasting on needed to be replaced to extend the station's reach. WTIC had been eligible for a 50,000-watt transmitter even before it went on the air, but there wasn't a suitable location for it. In 1928, that changed when travelers received permission to install the first RCA 50,000-watt transmitter on Talcott Mountain in Avon. Old Number 1, which the engineers called it, gave WTIC a powerful new voice in August of 1929. Listeners from as far away as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe began to respond with letters. With this kind of power, and because of the limited number of signals available in the 20s, WTIC commanded national attention and brought Hartford to the world.
Do you have 3 ex-wives?
Oh, a minute.
Trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, no doubt. Little salt and pepper for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC, Tramp. This is a great record. Let's get back to the phones because I got more stuff to get in. There's just so much, and I know a lot of phone calls are going to come in, so I'm going to get as much as I can in audio content as well as your phone calls. So, again, 860-522-WTIC. Back to Ralph in South Carolina. Ralph, thank you for holding, sir. What did you want to say? I didn't want to take anything away from you.
I appreciate that, Reese. First of all, last night was a joke.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's sad that you can't get the news media to be fair and honest with both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It is sad that has to happen. But the other thing, too, in my mind, he should have buried her last night.
I understand that, right? I do understand that. I promise you I will address your ails because a lot of people have been saying exactly what you said. And we're talking about guys who are professional in this business of analyzing and talking heads on television are saying exactly what you're saying. But there's to me, and I promise you, I hope that you stay tuned in. I know people have other things to do, but I promise you, I will break down everybody's issue with why they're saying he should have buried her. I'm going to explain to you why he did, and it will be in audio content, and it will come directly from the people you want to hear from. I promise. So, all right, what was your other thing? I don't want to address that. I don't want to take that away from you. What else did you want to say?
Well, the other thing, you know what? First thing I would have asked her, Reese.
Yes.
Did you state that if you win on the first day, you will ban fracking? Are those your words?
Exactly.
Yes or no?
Yep.
And that should have been done.
But you do know that ABC, this was one of the weirdest things I didn't recognize. And again, I'm a guy who has to follow this every day. It wasn't until yesterday before the debate that I found out that ABC News set rules that they are not to address one another. It wasn't just the mics were muted. They couldn't address one another. And there was at one point when they were talking about abortion where he did ask her a question and then he verts back to the host saying, I have the audio, so you'll be able to hear it. But he at one point addresses her and says, would you kill a baby between the 7th, the 8th, or the 9th month? And then he goes to David Muir. You should ask her that. You should ask her that because, again, the ground rules were they could not address one another. And they kept trying to, but the rules, they weren't allowed to.
One more quick thing, Reese, if I may. On the border deal you were talking about?
Yes.
People don't realize that deal would have allowed 1.8 million more illegals.
Yep.
And it had so many incursions. And also, let me ask you a question. Maybe you can answer this for me. They said that they would allow in 5,000 a day. Now, how do you work that? You give everybody a number? And when you get to 5,000?
Yeah, exactly.
Stop? Is that how it works?
And again, that's the other crazy part, right? In essence, you're telling every border crosser, you're talking about every border patrol agent that they had to keep a count and communicate with each other. Okay, I let in 150. Okay, I let in 250. I let in 350 over here. And then once they reach that magic number, everybody stops. That's ridiculous. That was never going to happen. And that's the reason why the actual bill that they were going to pass made that number so ambiguous that it could have been up to as much as 8,500 people a day.
Exactly. And do you think one of those idiots there had a way to count those people? Of course not.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, what are we going to be there with a clicker? Come on, man.
Exactly.
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate it again, sir.
We missed it today. Come back tomorrow. You lost your place today.
Don't worry. I appreciate you, Ralph. Thank you. Let's go to Tony in Southington. Thanks for holding, Tony. How are you?
You want to listen to Reese?
Yeah.
Hi, Tony. Tony, you there?
Can you hear me, Reese?
Yes, perfect, sir. How are you, sir?
You good?
Yep.
Yeah, good, buddy. How are you doing today?
All right, sir.
Yeah. All right, a couple of quick things. With the debate last night, I think that ABC allowed Kamala Harris to sidestep the question of why you went opposite on your policies.
Indeed.
This was earlier in the episode. And she never clearly answered that. She was able to sidestep that without any accountability or clear explanation of why she's following Trump policies.
Right.
And then I thought Trump missed the mark where he could say also that why did the Democrats take away me finishing building the wall when it was all taken care of and paid for at 100% full build, full length, when Biden had gotten into office? You know, to me, that's pretty mind-blowing. I don't understand why there's these, like, crazy lies going out there. And you're right. Kamala Harris had the leverage because it's an ABC network, which is a special interest group of the Democratic Party.
Indeed.
And I thought it was a little lopsided.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then one more thing with COVID, with the COVID thing, she brought up COVID. She's inheriting all these problems from COVID. That's a joke because, you know, it was COVID. It started when Trump was in, but he makes things happen. When he said that he was inheriting a bad economy when Obama was in office, he straightened it out because everybody was happier and we have more money in our wallets.
Right.
Do you know that the government, at the snap of the fingers, in a millisecond, they could stop the price gouging of food, groceries, fuel, and heating oil in a second?
Exactly.
We give billions and billions of dollars to foreign countries that don't care about us like it's nothing in a matter of milliseconds and without any vote or debate.
Isn't it interesting?
Doesn't make any sense.
Isn't it interesting that this is the
taking care
same
of fellow Americans?
This is the same government. This is the same government that in a blink of an eye was able to give everybody a home loan during the Clinton era, but for some odd reason can't manage pricing at a grocery store. All right, that's beyond their purview.
Exactly. And I want to throw in one last thing about racial issues. You know, the Democrats do things to keep people down that happen to be Black Americans and Hispanics who try hard every day and want to be, you know, in a sense equivalent to white people, whatnot.
Right.
And all the opportunities are there for them to take advantage of, you know, free college tuition, yada, yada, all kinds of perks and freebies and bonuses that they just as an individual choose not to take advantage of. That's not my fault because I am susceptible to all the failures and negativities because there's a lot of white trash people who mooch off the system just like Blacks and Hispanics, and people need to understand this truth.
But you don't listen.
There's
You have
good
to
and bad in every kind.
listen. This is the thing you have to recognize, Tony. That is
Life is what you make of it.
Yeah, exactly. Kamala Harris is not representative in any way. She doesn't represent nor understand any of those people that she claims to be fighting for, because when you ask those people, they don't even identify with anything she's saying. If you ask them on the ground floor, what is she talking about? They all go, what is she talking about? Because I'll tell you, what she represents is an elitist view of people beneath her that she claims to be helping, having never met them, right? So she's decided who they are, what their ails are, how she's going to respond to their ails, having never met them. So she has a very elitist ivory tower approach to people she'll never break bread with.
Exactly. You know what, Reese? That is insulting to people that are struggling in life, no matter what race you are.
That's right.
They keep people discouraged and keep them down so that they're not successful by giving them entitlements and handouts when they are mentally and physically able to work, but choose not to.
Yep.
And that's a problem right there in itself. And last but not least, buddy, let me just get this one more thing in. So
You're on a roll.
You're such a great host. Dude, you're such a great host. I love you, man. I got a friend just like you, bro. I'm a white dude who has a great black friend who was called a sellout and Uncle Tom. I want you to remind you of that. And I love the dude to death. We're tight forever, bro. But listen, the thing that's sickening to me is they don't want people to succeed. And the most of the public, which is sad, only sees things on the surface and they don't even follow politics. So most of your liberal voters just vote because they know they get the free shit. They don't have no idea of what, you know.
You couldn't help yourself, could you? Couldn't help yourself. That's all right. We'll get the dump on it. We'll get the dump on it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. People, I know people feel at home here. They can feel at home here. Thank you, boss man. I
love you.
I gotta let you go. Thank you. Love you too. Let me get this real quick before I go to the other phone calls, because there's a lot of content I have to get into. Okay, this is something that I have to get into because, again, we're going to get to a break in about four minutes. So I don't want to get bogged down with the phone calls yet. I promise everybody will get in. But I need folks to understand this. I need to get this out. To address what everyone is concerned with was this didn't happen and they got away with this and they did this and ABC News did that. I need you to take a few things away from what you see and what's happening. What's happening is different than what you are seeing. Let me give you an example, okay? This was on CBS News. After the debate, everything that you were cringing about, couldn't believe they were talking about, couldn't believe what they were doing, and Kamala Harris was winning, this happened. Listen.
She just basically repeated everything that Biden has said in the past.
What were your thoughts? She made, Donald Trump made a strong closing statement by saying, why didn't they do all the things that she's proposing during the 3.5 years that they've been in office? And Biden did this entire moderate stance back in 2020, and she's trying to do it again in 2024, but she didn't talk about her policy changes between 2020 and 2024. Her whole centrist, moderate stance is just facade.
This is happening in real time. This is happening. Last night, an undecided voter, Dr. Phil, do you know he had a panel of people watching, they had a live viewing, and then they did. This was an undecided voter, a woman, an open-minded woman.
I came into this with an open mind. I really, really wanted Vice President Harris to hit it out of the park. I don't think she did. I think she did better than some people expected her to. The cackle was not there. I kept waiting for it, and it didn't come. But I still didn't get answers. I didn't get answers to fundamental questions that we need to know as voters. And we just keep getting circled around that.
Like what? What did you not get an answer to?
Her economic plans. What is an opportunity economy? What does that mean? Who's paying for the tax cuts that she's proposing? Because in my opinion, giving people down payment assistance on houses just drives inflation up higher. Who's paying for all of these child tax credits? That's just the taxpayers coming out of pocket and hurting the middle class again.
She wanted Kamala Harris to hit it out of the park. She did not for this voter. Did not. She wanted her to hit it. She was an open mind. She was rooting for her. Everybody, chill. Donald Trump is Donald Trump. I'm going to say this before we go to break. I got 30 seconds. Brevity being the soul of wit, watch me. If you've heard a record a billion times and then think the record's going to sound different when you put it on again in front of a different audience, the problem is you. Donald Trump said everything that you already knew that he was going to say, and that can be annoying to you. It was Kamala Harris that had to sing a new tune, and she didn't. She was the one everyone was watching, not Trump. And she didn't hit it out of the park. I'll explain more when we return. Let's take a break. More news, more views, your phone calls. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hi, Eric Hogarth. Money Wisdom. This week we'll talk about the best place to retire in the United States, or at least the cheapest. We're also going to address questions that are probably on your mind and everyone else's. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on TIC News Talk 1080.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A devastating fire roars through your business. Would you be back up and running in less than 24 hours?
I guess when I realized how bad the fire was.
Roland M, not you, Roland. I'm talking to the guy in the chat room. Roland, yeah, I'm on that. I'm on it like a hornet, man. I'm on it like a hornet. Thank you for the link, but I'm on it. I promise you. Thank you for that.
Line. The technician and the head of operations actually came on site to see what they could do. We talked about if we were able to get into the building, what we could recover. We got our server out. We went to a remote location. Tab set that up. They worked tirelessly throughout the night, and they got us up and going for the next morning.
Tab Computer Systems got Ben's fire-ravaged business back up and running in less than 24 hours.
It was amazing. I was impressed.
Trust Tab's nearly 4 decades of experience to get your office network running and keep it running. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4, H-E-L-P, or visit tabinc.com. Technology's advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Wesley Financial Group is not.
Whoa, a minute.
If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare. Your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080. Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Teasing the groove. Yes, I'm back on the move. It's the thrill.
Oh, no doubt.
Nothing to lose. I'm at the top of the key. Everyone's looking at me, and oh, how they scream. It's one of nothing but fun.
Why are you playing Audie? Why are you playing the acapella version? She's from the old neighborhood. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. That is Sweet Tea. What are you trying to get me on the old school female hip hop range now?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to come better than that one.
We taking it back for you. I'm gonna come with it today.
All right, we'll see. All right, cut her off. She's actually the cousin of my former cohort in radio, actually. And I got to meet her for the first time. She's still sweet. She's still one of my biggest crushes when I was growing up. I don't have a lot of minutes, so I promise everybody who's on hold, please just stick around. I promise I'm going to get to everybody today. But I got a couple of minutes to take to say this, okay? The media has convinced everybody that when Donald Trump talks about January 6th or when Donald Trump talks about the 2020 election, voters are turned off. They've convinced so many people that conservatives believe it. So when Donald Trump gets baited, as many broadcasters said today and yesterday, he was baited. He's in a debate. He's in a corner. They asked him a question about January 6th. They asked him a question about the 2020 election. He's going to answer questions. He's not going to sidestep them like Kamala Harris. He's going to address them. You call it baiting. I call it answering the question as asked. The voter wants him to address the question. If he had avoided it, they would have shunned him for that. They would have attacked him for not being direct. So he's got to answer it. So he has to work under the terms in which he works, right? Unless he's given. You take what you get. You take what the defense gives you. That's what we've always been taught. So he did that. So when people start talking about he got baited into stuff, if somebody makes a comment about crowd sizes, he's got to make a comment about, she said that people are leaving his sweatshop. Okay, you think he's defensive about that? No, he had to respond to it. That's what debates are supposed to be. That was a debate is. She brought it up to get his go. But again, if you can tell me where she landed a punch on policy, where she made it clear who she was and what she was doing and what she can do today. No, you can't name one thing. All you can talk about is the swings. She didn't land anything, and it was evident in the response that people gave. The responses that people gave, if you watched any of them, they're on CNN, they're on NBC, all of them had these focus groups. And people openly said Kamala Harris never made clear who she is and what she's going to do. They saw right through all the minutiae that everyone else paid attention to. But everybody else focused on the other stuff. The people who have to make decisions were paying attention to policy. And so should you. Let's get to our first check of the traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark?
We're doing okay, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, 91 southbound coming into Hartford, you got some slow traffic between 36 and 35 in Windsor. Again, 33 down to 32 A and B in Hartford. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing just after 56 out to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue, and you are tight as you move down into the tunnel. 291 eastbound's a little slow getting over the Bissell Bridge into South Windsor. 2 eastbound is in good shape, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, some slow traffic, Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, again tight by exit 32 in Berlin. 84 eastbound, Waterbury delays approaching 17 to 18. Westbound 84 a little tight, 23 to 22 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Danbury slowing by exit 3. Some more slow traffic, 84 eastbound by exit 9 in Newtown, and again 10 up to exit 11 in Newtown on the eastbound side of 84. Delays Parkway southbound by exit 60 in Hamden. 95 south in New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny and gorgeous for the rest of the afternoon with a high of 80. Clear to partly cloudy, comfy tonight. Some patchy fog forming late, the low down to 51. Thursday, we'll have some patchy fog in the morning. Otherwise, a mostly sunny and beautiful day, the high of 83. Another gorgeous day to round out the week, though quite warm on Friday. We'll have some patchy morning fog. It'll be partly sunny, the high of 88. Saturday, mostly sunny, beautiful start to the weekend, the high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Ceremonies held in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania to honor those who were lost in the worst terror attack on American soil 23 years ago today. Correspondent Linda Kenyon reports.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General C.Q. Brown, says it was a day of heroism and horror.
We gather to acknowledge the heroes whose courage illuminated the darkest hours. And we gather to honor the families who have borne the deepest loss.
While Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says we also remember the resolve.
We are the United States of America. We do not bend to terror.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
At the Connecticut Fire Academy in Windsor Locks today, recruits and officials came out to honor those lost, the injured, and their families. 161 had ties to our state. Firefighter recruit Justin Bilecki was in high school and remembers watching the events unfold on television.
I was a senior in high school when 9/11 happened. We watched in the classroom as the events unfolded that day.
That audio from WFSB. Former President Trump traveled to Shanksville, Pennsylvania today for a memorial service there for those who died when the passengers overpowered terrorists at the controls and prevented that jet from heading to Washington. Afterward, Trump was asked about a second presidential debate with Vice President Harris.
You don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter has a bad fight, gets knocked out, or loses the fight, the first thing he says is, we want a rematch.
Authorities in Southern California say they've now arrested a person suspected of setting the devastating line fire. San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes.
About 73,000 complete structures have been threatened by this fire. And when that translates to our citizens in this county, approximately 100,000 citizens.
More from reporter Rick Montañez.
There are flames burning. We've seen it since before sunrise. The fire moved through here overnight, and that forced the evacuation of this mountain community. Firefighters, though, say the good thing is this community has planned and prepared for these types of emergencies.
Four tenants unions are protesting against a major New Haven landlord, Ocean Management. Resident and union official Laura Palulis says it's about bringing the company back to the negotiating table on housing conditions, lease terms, and rent stability.
It's an escalation of efforts to get the attention of Ocean, who have been ghosting negotiations and not responding to the tenants and the people in the unions who are trying to work on the negotiation.
Ocean owns hundreds of apartments in New Haven. It negotiated a collective lease agreement with one of the unions, but it stopped meeting with the others. That protest gets underway at 6 this evening. State Treasurer says Connecticut's pension fund is getting healthier, now at $57 billion. It grew 11.5% in fiscal 2024, up from an 8.5% increase the year prior. And Treasurer Eric Russell says with improved asset allocation and other adjustments, it is well positioned for the long run.
This is not about 1 or 2 year performance, which has been very strong. And I think it's an indicator that the work that has been done by the investment team, by the Investment Advisory Council, is taking effect and it's having benefits.
Russell says the state is paying down legacy pension debt faster than it was, and Governor Lamont says retirements for teachers and state workers are secure. Hurricane Francine is expected to make landfall in Louisiana. Michael Brennan at the Hurricane Center in Miami on what to expect.
Considerable flash and urban flooding, especially in areas where you're getting the storm surge as well. The combination of the heavy rainfall flooding, in addition to the storm surge, could create even higher water levels.
That storm expected to come ashore as either a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Markets finishing up after lagging a bit earlier. Dow up 124 points, NASDAQ up 369, and the S&P up 59 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moments.
1 minute.
1. To annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful.
And 10 going in right after the drop.
Got it. And globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Your phone calls coming up. I want to give a shout out to my good friend Laura out in New Milford, right? Yeah, Milford. She and I, she just sent me a text message. She was actually with me on September 11th. 2001, she was actually going to a school right around the corner from my studios. And that was a harrowing day. She was just like, remembering that day. So I want to give her a shout out because she still says every time she listens to New York State of Mind by Billy Joel, it brings her to tears. She remembers that. just remembering that day. It was just she finds it hard to shake a lot of people who were in New York. It's just a day. If you were there, you remember where you were. It doesn't matter who you talk to, no matter where you are in the country. Everyone remembers where they were at that moment, and you just sort of, you sort of reflect on that moment and what you were doing and how the world sort of stopped in an instant. I'll tell you this. I saw the most unified New York in my lifetime on that day, and I tell this story all the time. There was this moment where Laura mentioned comes to my studio, and I've got to walk her to the apartment so I could go back and broadcast for the rest of the day. And we stop, and we're on 4th and 6th Avenue as we're walking back to the apartment. And there is a homeless man that we saw there every day, and he had a radio sitting on a trash can. And he was surrounded by regular passerbys. In that moment, that homeless man with his boombox was the most important person to everybody in that space. And they relied on him to get information. It was a unifying moment where everyone was the same. They were on the same playing field. They were absolutely united in gathering information and caring about one another. I saw people walking down the street giving each other water. It was absolutely profound. In a bittersweet way, that day unified an entire country and New Yorkers. I'll never forget that feeling that I had that day. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and to everyone. This traffic report is being brought to you by Whittlesey. And if you're making your way into downtown Hartford right now, look for some slow traffic on the southbound side of I-91 from exit 34 down to 32A and B. Northbound on 91 moving well Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound slows a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 eastbound's a little tight getting over the Bissell Bridge moving from Windsor into South Windsor. Route 2 eastbound's in good shape moving Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound a little slow Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound delays in Waterbury 17 up to 18. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 23 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, you got slow traffic 9 up to exit 11 on the eastbound side of 84. Southbound Parkway is a little slow getting by exit 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more at wadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It's been another beautiful day, and it'll be a nice night for us. Still watch for some areas of fog forming late. The low down to 51 tonight, so quite comfy. Then some areas of fog, obviously Thursday morning, then a mostly sunny and beautiful day. The high back to 83. Friday, very similar. Areas of morning fog, then partly sunny and quite warm to round out the week with a high of 88. Mostly sunny, beautiful start to the weekend Saturday, the high 86. Then partly sunny on Sunday. Still another great day for outdoor activities, the high of 82. Now, currently it is 73 in Waterbury, Danbury at 76. It's 77 in Hartford, and I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Most goals have a clear course, like planning a trip. But when it comes to losing 40 or 50 pounds, that's a different story. Except with Awaken 180, a clear course to fast, proven weight loss with free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hamden, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
If you're still waiting, 1 minute. Here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band. Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
Laugh.
This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's one of my favorite beats. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I remember watching the news, and the reporter was in Paris and approached an elderly woman with tears in her eyes and says, "Tonight we are all Americans." I'll never forget that, Michael A. I watched that same broadcast. I do remember that. Let's get to the phones because they've been holding for a long time, and I thank you guys for being so patient. Let's go to our good friend, Frank in Woodbridge. Hi, Frank.
How you doing today?
I'm pretty good, sir.
I was on vacation that week. I knew where I was. I was in an Italian bakery. I was ordering food, and I heard it over the radio.
You were listening to the radio.
Well, they had a radio on it in the Italian bakery.
Wow.
They had the station on. I was ordering food. I couldn't believe what I heard. I said, let me get this food home and eat this as quickly as possible. That would my last day.
Right. You know, the radio is an interesting, that's why I always say that the radio is an interesting place to have heard the events like that happening in a very Orson Welles War of the World sort of, you know, with his War of the Worlds kind of effect. You know what I mean? Right. It's like someone's got to describe that to you, and you've got to go to the theater of the mind to understand what's being explained to you. And that's...
Wasn't he, I love that guy. All big men are brilliant.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
He was, but I thought about that. It's interesting. I thought about that in so many ways on the day that I had the broadcast, because I kept saying to myself, I have to convey to people on the radio when everyone has a television. It's like, it's not really, you know, the internet is relatively new. People can't watch things on their phones. You know, at that time, like the smartphone era, it's just very early. So the radio medium, you have to describe what you saw. And there were a lot of things on that day that I got wrong. You know, I thought I never believed that those towers would come down. In my heart of hearts, I could not believe it. And I conveyed that on the air. And for years, Frank, I felt very awful about saying that because it's on tape. I remember listening to it afterwards, and I said, I can't believe I said it.
Truth. I couldn't believe they were supposed to be built for that not to happen,
right?
Weren't they? And
yeah.
It came down. And the second thing is, I saw just a little bit of debate because we were watching the games last night. And here's the first thing I noticed about Kamala. She didn't look good. She looked pale. She had makeup on.
My wife said her hair looked great.
Yeah, but that skin, you know, I don't like the color of that skin. You know that. I just don't like it. She was one step away from being a white woman.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Frank. Talk about, you know what? Talk about absolutely surface level critique.
Listen, I made it clear. I've been talking to you for years. You know who I love.
Listen, I understand that. Frank, let me tell you this.
That's pale looking and light looking. I just
Frank,
don't like that color.
Frank, let me tell you this, man.
I get in trouble for that. But I tell you the truth.
Frank, for a big guy, you're awfully shallow. God bless you.
For a woman that has a permanent tan. Let's put it that
way.
I
hear you, buddy. I appreciate you, sir. Let me get to Fred. Fred's in Middletown. How we doing, Fred?
Hey, good. So you were saying you couldn't believe the buildings fell down, and the 100+ firefighters who ran into them couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
It never happened before. Never happened again. Did anyone ever figure out why Building 7 fell? And now just a little thing here. So 2 planes felled 3 buildings. Okay, yeah. What's your point? How about if 1 plane had felled 3 buildings? Then how about if no planes felled 3 buildings? Would it have changed anything? This is war. That 3rd building, why ask why and what difference does it make? 23 years later. And the only question is, where were you? And describe the feeling. It's an unsolved murder.
It
like
is.
Mr. King and like Mr. Kennedy. But I mean, okay, Kennedy was a long time ago. In the case of King, someone actually brought charges against, there's a book called The Trial of Lloyd Jowers. His bar is where they conspired. The Atlanta FBI were in on it, and everyone, and they actually lost the case. But so I just can't believe this. I mean, this is like an elephant in the room, and nobody even knows they're in a room. Never mind that there's an elephant in it.
You're talking about September 11th is the elephant in the room and no one's even addressing it? I'll tell you like this.
Building 7.
I think I always look at this. September 11th is, again, always going to bring up all of those questions. Don't get me wrong. I totally get where you're coming from. But I always feel like some people have a hard time touching those questions because it evokes sort of a controversy that takes away from remembering the lives of those who have lost. But I get your point about the sort of unsolved murder, as it were, because there are still people who are responsible who still have not been made to be responsible. And don't forget, this is another key point. I want to play this because I think this sort of plays into what I'm talking about as far as people who are responsible. There was a woman who spoke at the tribute today. I played it at the opening monologue. You may have heard it. Here's what she said, which I thought was amazing. And a lot of people are playing it today, too.
It is outrageous that our government would ever entertain the thought of granting the terrorists a plea deal. If not for the outcry of the 9/11 community, who knows what might have transpired.
Yeah, that was a key point in all of this. Like, people who are being flippant and dismissive of it because it's 23 years later. But to your point, because it's 23 years later doesn't mean we still don't have unanswered questions that need to be addressed. Saudi Arabia being one.
Oh, my God. Another red herring there. So the terrorists. Okay. Those planes, check out those planes. If you know any pilots, ask them if they think they could have made that shot. Those planes are going 500 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour over the recommended speed of that aircraft. There's a guy who was flying like a Piper thing. That's like driving a little Toyota pickup. And now he's making that shot 2 times. And what luck we were standing down that day, the day they decided to hijack the planes and fly them into the buildings. Who knew that you could make a building fall as if imploded into its own footprint at free fall speed with jet fuel?
Again,
the people who implode buildings.
Because it is impossible to litigate that on a radio show. I totally get your point, though, but I do have to get some other calls because you got a lot of questions.
You. Bye-bye.
I appreciate it, Fred. Mike is in Newington. How are we doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
All right, sir.
Just a couple observations I wanted to point out about last night's debate.
Please.
Yeah, well, I wanted to reach out to you yesterday before, and I didn't have a chance to get on the air to talk about something I talked about with Tom Shattuck yesterday, too, is something somebody pointed out. I think it was on Brian Kilmeade's show, and I loved what he had said, that Donald Trump should address her as Madam Vice President every time he talks to her, every time he addresses her, to remind the public that she is the incumbent. Because you and I both know she's trying to skate by on this, making it look like Donald Trump's the one that is the incumbent. I'm new to this. No, you've been around for 4 years.
You don't believe that Donald Trump, and I get to Kilmeade's point, which, by the way, I did hear when Kilmeade said that he should keep addressing that. And I get it. The optics are important. The audible sort of the audible confirmation of her position to people sort of sears into their memory. I get that. I do. But the truth be told, as I played earlier, people went into this. God, I'm almost sort of repeating myself here, but hear me out. Many of us who know the game were looking for the balls and strikes. the where he would strike, the science of it all. Like if we were watching a boxing match, we would call out the jabs versus the uppercuts towards the body blows. We are looking at it from that. But the average voter is looking at a boxing match, not understanding. Oh, I'll even go one step further. Try this one on for size. This one's perfect, Mike. How about looking at it as a pitcher? Imagine you had told the entire country to watch a pitcher pitch a game and then try to explain to them the splitter, the curveball, the slider, and tell them to recognize them. They wouldn't be able to do it.
Technical.
Right, exactly. The technical part of the game. So right now, you and I, and the people who are in talk radio, the people who watch, who are online following this to every detail, we know the pitch before it comes. We know the hand. We know the way he's holding the ball, the way he's postured, the way he approaches the plate. We know exactly which one's a splitter, which one's a curveball, which one's a knuckleball. To the average person, all they know is that the ball either went over the plate, it was wide right, it was wide low. Those are the things. Right. So we are asking the average person to see the things that we are analyzing. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Now, Reese, I want to make some other quick points, and I want to use my time wisely here, is that I thought that Donald Trump should, after Kamala was asked the question, and she typically, as she does, evaded answering the question. She just went around it and didn't answer. I thought the perfect thing for Trump could have done, when it turned to him now to answer that question, he should have said to the moderator, what I'm going to do now, Madam Vice President, unlike you not answering the question, here's the answer to the question. That would have pointed out, again, that we already know that she didn't answer the question.
That's right.
She should have voiced that. Now, one last thing I want to say is that Kamala came there extremely systematically prepared to systematically manipulate the weak-minded public, meaning that she had her digs ready, and I swear I thought I was
that was all set up by the moderators. They set her up beautifully by asking Donald Trump about January 6th and letting her get the tail end of the response to it. So it's like you ask Donald Trump about January 6th, Donald Trump explains himself on January 6th, and then you say Kamala Harris, who has nothing to do with January 6th other than being present, oh, can you respond to what happened on January 6th? Where in essence, it's almost like a courtroom where you go, here's the defendant, and then you allow the counselor or the prosecutor to give closing arguments after each question. The same thing was the case with the 2020 election. It's a setup for Trump, and then you let Kamala Harris prosecute at the end.
I've heard that she was coached for this thing by Hillary, and I saw Hillary in Kamala last night.
Yeah, and you know what? You're probably correct there, but I think there was something else going on. I'll get into that a little later. But thank you. I appreciate you, Mike. Can I get into, let Wayne and Matt just hold on for a little bit. I'll get back to them. I promise. I want to play a couple of these clips. These are important because I know I'll never get to them if I don't now. Okay? This was an important part to this debate, and a lot of people are making a lot of comments about it. Okay? Just because they're talking about it, I want to play it. So bear with me. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
Now, what was that about? You guys remember it. It was the one that everyone cringed about. Donald Trump talking about cats and dogs. Okay? Folks, calm down. Donald Trump never mentioned Haitians last night. Because everybody's online talking about, but he's talking about the Haitians. No, he didn't. He said people are eating pets. They're eating cats. They're eating dogs. Other people are injecting the word Haitians. Why? Because Haitians were, of course, the subject of many of these online reports. The Haitians moving into the community and people who have been eating these animals were attributed to Haitians. But when everybody was sitting around there saying he was blaming the Haitians, Donald Trump never brought up the origins of those people. He never did. Just so we're clear. But remember what David Muir said. We spoke to the city manager, which means what? That's not reporting ABC News. The reporting is not making a phone call. It's getting on the ground. And had you been on the ground, you probably would have found this out. City manager.
I just want to
just make sure that we got this right. Here it is. I'm sorry. On the ground. This is what could have happened.
I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last number was 9898, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on. There was about 4 of them. There was 2 men, 2 women. I couldn't tell the age because I'm in a hurry going to this orientation, so I don't be late.
Yeah, folks, nobody's eating the pets. Nobody's eating the ducks. It's not happening. You want to know why? Because David Muir talked to the city manager.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
You have no idea what I want to say. You have no idea. Other than, let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark. Oh, Mark. I think he's still finishing up over at the other network. We'll give him a second. Mark, just let me know when you're there.
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Roll.
Mark Christopher. You got it.
Well, I appreciate that, Reese. Thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, you've got delays from 34 down to 32 A and B. South of downtown, a little tight down by exit 28. Hartford Weathersfield line. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tight up approaching the Bulkley Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291's a little slow. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. If you're 2 eastbound, that looks good. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound Waterbury slowing from 23 up to exit 22. 84 eastbound a little tight, 17 to 18 in Waterbury. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, you'll see slow traffic from 9 in Newtown up to exit 11. South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
Your vacation possibilities just got more exciting. Enjoy connections to over 20 cities across Europe when you fly non-stop to Dublin from Hartford with Aer Lingus. Great fares from Bradley International Airport, now available on airlingus.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of the afternoon, it'll be partly sunny and gorgeous with that high temperature of 80. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy skies, some patchy fog forming late, the low down to 51. We'll have patchy fog Thursday morning, otherwise a mostly sunny and beautiful day, the high of 83. Patchy morning fog again on Friday, otherwise partly sunny and very warm rounding out the week, the high of 88. Saturday, beautiful start to the weekend, mostly sunny, the high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Hurricane Francine is poised to make landfall as Category 1 or 2 along the U.S. Gulf Coast, Louisiana in particular. They're making final preparations, gathering supplies and sand bags.
Be right back.
Say the biggest concern with this storm will be the storm surge. More school threats reported today. Weathersfield, Avon, North Haven. In North Haven, police said on social media they were at the high school, middle school campus after a threatening comments were made. Speaker Mike Johnson has pulled a vote on a temporary spending plan that could keep federal agencies and programs funded for 6 months. This as the clock ticks toward the expiration of the current spending plan and possibility of a partial government shutdown. American flag was draped over one side of the Pentagon today as one of the remembrances in honor of the nearly 3,000 people killed, including 161 with ties to our state. On September 11th, 2001, ceremonies were held this morning at Ground Zero. Another one took place at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where a plane said to be bound for D.C. with terrorists on board went down when the passengers overtook them. A person's in the hospital after they were shot in Norwalk on Tuesday. Victim at the hospital by the time police arrived on scene on Strawberry Hill Avenue. The victim listed in serious condition. And Secretary of State Blinken and the British Foreign Minister are in Kyiv, a joint visit as Ukraine presses the West to allow it to use long-range missiles against Russia. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 124 points today. The Nasdaq gained 369, and the S&P was up 58 points. Red Sox baseball tonight on TIC. 6:10 the pregame ahead of the Sox and the Orioles from Fenway. Yanks try to bounce back against the Royals at the stadium. The Mets are in Toronto this afternoon. Eastern League, the Yard Goats face Akron, 6:35 on the Odyssey app. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real-person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Bash, a spine surgeon here at Middlesex Health Center for Spine Surgery. By the time most patients come to us, they've typically suffered for years from back pain, difficulty walking, or numbness. And while we're experts in minimally invasive, robotic-assisted spine surgeries, we always try to exhaust all non-surgical options first. We'll help you find the treatment that's right for you, so you can get back to doing what you love faster. To learn more about why we're leaders in outpatient spine surgery, visit middlesexhealth.org/spine.
By the end of the 20s, radio was a recognized force, and so was WTIC. It was clear that the 500-watt transmitter the station was broadcasting on needed to be replaced to extend the station's reach. WTIC had been eligible for a 50,000-watt transmitter even before it went on the air, but there wasn't a suitable location for it. In 1928, that changed when travelers received permission to install the first RCA 50,000-watt transmitter on Talcott Mountain in Avon. Old Number 1, which the engineers called it, gave WTIC a powerful new voice in August of 1929. Listeners from as far away as Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Europe began to respond with letters. With this kind of power, and because of the limited number of signals available in the 20s, WTIC commanded national attention and brought Hartford to the world.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos?
Come on a minute.
Radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or Grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage
And 10 coming straight in.
on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Don't forget, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, ReeseOnTheRadio.com. The Reese on the Radio store is up. It is running. We've got a couple of ideas there. And I know Matt in Bristol is checking out. Matt, you want to go to the Reese on the Radio website. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Scroll down. There is a shirt that I made specifically with you in mind. You'll see it when you get there. Go check it out if you get a chance today. It's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. And if you like any of those shirts, we'll work on a possible giveaway. But if you're interested, the shirts are there. So go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Also go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com for my favorite piece on there, which is called The Stupidest Thing I Read Today. On Friday, I'm going to go see the movie Am I Racist? Matt Walsh's new documentary. He's calling it a comedy, but it is a documentary. In the theme of the Borat movies, but this one's a little more interesting. Well, I'm going to go see it Friday, and there was an article that came out yesterday that I saved for today if you didn't read about it. A woman who wrote the book called White Fragility. Her last name is D'Angelo. I think it's Rachel D'Angelo, who wrote a book called White Fragility, and she makes thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, giving lectures, telling white folks how not to be racist. It's interesting. But she wrote a book called White Fragility. Well, Matt Walsh interviewed her for his film, Am I Racist? And in the movie, in the little tease that they've given, they actually show, they actually make her go into her pocketbook and give a black man on his staff reparations right then and there. Read the article to find out how much money she managed to pull out of her purse. It is a great story. It's funny, but it is the stupidest thing I've read today. Just because, these people do not walk it like they talk it. They've claimed that they should give reparations, but then we're put on the spot. The measly amount of money that she gives to this black man named Ben. Just read the article. You'll love it. Just go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. The stupidest thing I read today. Check it out. You're going to love this little blog that I put on there. Let's get back to the traffic in the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, overall, a pretty decent ride out there. If you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays 33 down to 32. Again, down bikes at 28 on the Hartford-Weathersfield line. Delays again 19 down to 17 on the Wilbur Cross Parkway on 91 South. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up from just after 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays approaching 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. 291's a little slow from I-91 over to just east of the Bissell Bridge in the South Windsor near exit 4. 2 eastbound moving very well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing in Middletown, approaching Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury slowing by 18. 84 eastbound again tight by 26 in Cheshire. Westbound 84 slowing 22 into the Mixmaster. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, look for delays 8 in Danbury out to exit 11 in Newtown. And 95 southbound delays.
NBC's isn't spring
in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It's been a beautiful day as we head through tonight. Clear to partly cloudy with some areas of fog forming late. Cool and comfy, the low down to 51. Some areas of fog for Thursday morning, otherwise mostly sunny and warm, the high of 83. Areas of morning fog again on Friday, otherwise partly sunny and very warm to round out the week with the high of 88. Mostly sunny Saturday, beautiful start to the weekend, the high 86, and partly sunny. Great day to be outdoors on Sunday, the high of 82. Right now, it is 70 in New London with that south breeze coming off the water. Mansfield at 75, 77 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good Feet store nearest you at goodfeet.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
CertaPro Painters transforms your house into a home. When choosing a local painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters. Visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com. Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. This week we'll talk about the best place to retire in the United States, or at least the cheapest. We're also going to address questions that are probably on your mind and everyone else's. Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on TIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Brian Kilmeade. I am so excited to be on WTIC right here in Hartford, Connecticut. I'll be bringing all the breaking news with perspective, give you an idea what's happening, not only the election, but beyond, the things that matter to you on a daily basis. I promise to bring you the best guests, the most insight, and the most prepared. Fresh off Fox and Friends, I come up to do the Brian Kilmeade Show here on Fox News. Make sure you join me on WTIC. Hello, Connecticut. I hope I never have to say goodbye.
Prescriptions.
1 minute.
With a healthcare provider who will
Got it.
determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and
I will just note that when it comes to abortion,
product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at HIMS, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I want to play this real quick, folks. Another thing that was interesting in the debate last night was this breakdown, this crazy breakdown about abortion, right? Nobody's killing babies in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 9th month, after the baby's born. Not happening. This actually just showed up on my feed. Representative Mike Waltz on CNN talking to Breonna Keller on CNN. This actually happened. Listen to this.
I will just note that when it comes to abortions at or after 21 weeks, less than 1% account for that. And in a lot of those cases, it has to do with the life of the mother, or it has to do with the extreme medical conditions of the fetus that it will not survive after birth.
Now, first of all, no objective news reporter should be doing this with the guests. They should just be asking them questions. But of course, it always turns into a debate and it's adversarial. And then this happened.
But I do want to ask you, you said it was a hypothetical.
That's important commentary, but 1% of millions is still a large number. And I mean, when you have,
or in the case of rape or incest, barriers to access. For instance, if someone,
when you have 8 children in Minnesota that died after attempted abortions, were born and then still died, but you have ABC saying this never happens. When you have 8 states that have 0 restrictions, 8 states that have 0 restrictions all the way up to the minute of birth, ABC was all over the place and one-sided.
Sure, you know that's not.
Air quote.
You know that's not. You know that's not how it happens.
I'm holding up an article.
But I do. I want to ask you
from the Dispatch.
I want to ask you because you're a surrogate. You were a surrogate for the Trump.
You heard that? She's talking over him as he's expressing to her that a reporter from CNN wrote an article about the 8 babies that died. A CNN reporter. It's astonishing. It's just astonishing. And what are you going to do? 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Wayne and Morris. Thanks for holding, Wayne. You're on with Reese on the Radio.
Hey, Reese, you mentioned about hearing about 9/11 on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly the way it happened with me. That particular morning, usually my morning routine consists of putting on the TV news in the background while I'm checking messages and all that sort of thing. But that particular morning, I was getting ready for a very special appointment for a sales. I was doing wholesale wine sales, and I got an appointment at a very exclusive retail outfit. Mm-hmm. So it took me 3 weeks. I had to wait to get in, and I was concentrating on preparing for, so I didn't even check the news or have anything on my screen. I was preparing for this. So I leave the house. I go into the post office to pick up my mail from the P.O. box from the day before. When I walked in the post office, the radio was on real loud. And I went over to the window and I said, "What's going on?" Because they usually have it playing in the background.
Yeah.
And they always have the local Litchfield radio station on. And they have a default news with CBS. And so CBS News is on, and they're just saying an airplane had hit the World Trade Center.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, well, this could be a terrorist attack, but we don't know anything. We don't know where it came from. There's only one airplane, and you know, emergency services were rushing to the building and all that sort of thing. But you don't have a visual. You know what I'm saying?
You have to invent it. You have to invent it in your mind.
By this, you know, and various descriptions are being used.
Yeah.
So I get in my car, and I'm about to pull out the driveway to leave to go to the appointment, and I hear a second plane hits the Trade Center. Now, that means it's a terrorist attack. So I pull across the street, and I call the place where I'm supposed to go. And I said, based on what just happened, do you still want me to come? And he said, yeah, we're listening to it on the radio here. And he said, but we have a spot for you, and we have prepared a location and set aside 45 minutes of our day for you.
Wow.
So we would appreciate it if you would come. So, I mean, it was a tough decision to make because I really wanted to.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you. I have a great – there's a story with Laura who I was just talking about that's very similar to that. I got to jump around more, Wayne, so I appreciate you. Let me get to Matt in Bristol real quick, and I'm going to get to Joe and Tim so I can get them in within this break. Matt is in Bristol. What's going on, sir? Matt, are you there? Okay, maybe Matt's not there. He may have held too long. Okay, we'll move on. All right, let's go to a person who I thought was sort of cheating on me with another radio host because he hadn't called here in a while. Joe in Simsbury. What's going on, Joe? I thought you didn't love me anymore.
No. Just business gets in the way.
It's okay. I heard you on Tom's show earlier today. And I was just like, well, so I know that he's obviously alive. So
exactly.
I was like a scorned lover. I was like, so he's seeing his other friend. How are you, buddy?
Well, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. So I've been all over this Haiti, Springfield, Ohio thing.
Yeah.
And I took it a step deeper. You know, rather than listening to Trump, rather than looking at the headlines, I spent time watching the Springfield town meeting that people can find if they look for it online.
Indeed.
And we're only getting part of the story here. And this is the other part. You know, this is specifically for those people who are the non-believers as to what's happening in our country right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is I made a list. These are the things that people were describing that are Springfield, Ohio residents to the town commission.
Mm-hmm.
That they have observed Haitians publicly cleaning and gutting roadkill on the side of the road.
That's right.
Without any regard for anyone being there.
Mm-hmm.
That they are going into grocery stores, opening containers, helping themselves to what's inside, throwing the rest onto the back on the shelves or on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They're stealing from farmers, cutting off the heads of
livestock,
certain farm animals.
Mm-hmm.
They are making some sort of stew with the ducks and the geese from that they're grabbing in the park.
Mm-hmm.
They're screaming at people. They're blocking roads.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically doing life the way that they did it in Haiti.
That's right.
These are people that, on average, and our friend, the Hamden Heckler, doesn't like me talking about them, but I'm going to talk about them because I happen to love America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a communist. That they have, on average, between kindergarten and grade 2 education.
Mm-hmm.
And these are grown adults.
Yep.
Their IQs are so low.
Mm-hmm.
And people get all worried about, you know, you were talking earlier that Trump actually did not mention Haiti.
That's right.
But we need to mention it because the whole thing about immigration has to do with assimilation.
Mm-hmm.
even beyond the whole story having to do with whether or not you're legal or illegal. It has to do with the only way this country survives, whether someone is legal or illegal, is how they assimilate into the culture of the United States of America.
And we are the
not
only
the culture
place
of the hellhole they came from.
In that, Joe,
And
to
these
your
people
point, real
can't.
quick, Joe, to your point,
Yep.
that is one of the things that I think that sort of lacks within the American culture is because you can go anywhere else in the world and you must assimilate. If you go to China, you can't go in there and become American. You know what I'm saying? You can't go in there and be American. You either adhere to their way of life or you are going to be either ostracized or shamed. If not, you will end up leaving. You either get with the program or you are out of here. We are the only country that says not just bring yourself, bring your culture, our culture be damned, because, you know, we get this whole thing is we don't speak English here and there's no Americanism here. We immediately just allow everybody to do everything it is that they're allowed to, want to do here in any way in which they do, regardless of the way in which we do things. In communities, in neighborhoods, they will just let them run roughshod over them. And that's what these Haitians are doing in Springfield and in other places in and around Ohio, if not the rest of the country. But now, go back to your point.
They did it in Edison, New Jersey.
That's
where
right.
People had rabbits as pets in the back, and they went and they took the rabbits out of the cages, started a fire on the lawn, and were cooking 3 rabbits.
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest here, because I get really angry when I have to talk about this, and I have to hold back some of the things I'd really like to say. If you are a Democrat or a Green Party or whatever party you are, and you're okay with this, I can only conclude one thing, and that is that you hate the United States of America, because you would never bring in people that cannot assimilate into what we have as a culture. There is no group of people, I don't care what your education is. I don't care if you're a UConn professor, Yale, piece of garbage professor. You could never sit in a room with other people and make a legitimate case that makes sense to anyone about bringing in people that don't have the ability to assimilate here unless your goal is to destroy this country.
You are 100% right. And that's the thing. We've got to stop, tiptoeing around the fact that they do hate America. I don't care what they can say to me till the cows come home that they love this country. I know they don't. They think everything about this country is illegitimate. They believe it should be taken down a peg. I remember our own president of the United States called us arrogant, in essence that we needed to be sort of shamed in some way. These people feel the same way. They hate this country. They damn sure don't love it. But I agree that they hate this country. And you know what? One of the worst parts about it, Joe, is that they allow this to happen and they sort of dismiss it because it doesn't happen to them directly. Until it does, they always change their mind. When it starts happening to them, it starts affecting them, then all of a sudden they're up in arms. Hey, Chicago, listen, people don't believe this. I say to the people of Chicago, you guys let violence run through your entire city for decades. You never said a word. All of a sudden, illegals start coming into it, and all of a sudden, it's a problem. That violence is a problem. Now you're angry about all violence. Well, sometimes, even though it's final, I'm glad that you figured it out, but it is a little too late. But these people, it has to happen to them in order for them to realize that what they used to recognize as America is being stolen from them by people who are allowed to come into the country and take it. That's all.
And we've been talking about Haitians, or I've been talking about Haitians mostly.
Well, you have.
it's also people from apparently from the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
There's an issue in the New York City boroughs of sexual assault from Congolese men.
Yeah.
They don't belong here. Remove them.
Yep.
And we can, if we really wanted to do this, then we would go through every single one of them and we would figure out, okay, looks like a nice family, hardworking, they don't understand the language. We'll work with them. We'll give them an opportunity. That's America. We don't give opportunities to people that are Venezuelan criminals or Congolese sexual assaulters of women. Unless we don't like women, then we might as well just bring in all those people. And then also the whole thing we're talking about with the Haitians, and there's about 20 other cultures as well that are not doing what they need to do to be part of this country, and they need to be removed from this country. Or at first told, this is what your expectation is, break the expectation, and we are going to remove you, whether it be police, National Guard, whatever.
Indeed.
Because we're ruining this country for younger people, and we're destroying it. They will never have a good country.
Yeah. And exactly. They'll never be able to fight back because once they're here and once it starts to grow, there's nothing to beat back, or they won't be able to beat it back because the country is no longer theirs. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, and I really appreciate you calling today. Now, I didn't lose my faith in you. I missed you, buddy. I missed you. I just want to say this. This is an important part. What Joe brought up is a really, really good point. I remember having this conversation with my stepdaughter I want to say now 15, 20 years ago. I remember saying to her that, you guys are going to keep, your generation is going to keep allowing people to destroy this country until you don't even recognize it anymore. And your values, your way of life, and even your rights are going to be pushed aside. You're going to find yourself in a jam where you need help, where you need assistance, where you want people to either respond or to react to what it is that's bothering you. And you will have to wait in line behind people who never put any sweat equity into getting that help. And you will wait. And guess what? That's what Springfield, Ohio is doing now. Watch that video that's on Twitter, that 25-minute documentary that guy, I think his name is Timothy something. I can't remember his name right now, but I'll tell you in the next break. Watch that 25-minute video and listen to that old black veteran who's sitting outside the municipal building trying to get help from the city. Saying, I don't have anything against anyone, man, but they're taking my Medicaid, they're taking everything, and then I got to wait online. I got to drag my behind down here. I'm an old man. And people are getting services before me, and I'm an American citizen who fought for this country. And I got to wait at the back of the line while other people who just got here go ahead of me. And he said, I got nothing against anyone, man, but I can't believe I'm being treated like this. And they should be outraged about it. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
They should absolutely be. What a shameful situation.
It is. It is.
It really. It's just beyond shameful. Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of 991. Delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you're on the westbound side of 84, delays just after 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound delays a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 eastbound's a little slow from I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge as you head into South Windsor. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slows approaching the Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading toward Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 18. 84 westbound a little tight, 23 to 22 as you head up on the Mixmaster. Heading into Danbury right now, you're seeing some slow traffic on the eastbound side of I-84 as you move up on exit 5. And then again, you're going to see some slow traffic from exit 9 in Newtown up to exit 11 in Newtown. South 95 New Haven slowing from 48 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. More than just fences.
Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton has been Connecticut's premier fencing contractor since 1956. Quality craftsmanship, products that last for years, and the local team known for expert installation. Check us out at CapeCodFence.com. Cape Cod Fence Company.
WTIC.
I see Tim in Hamden's got a new name thanks to to Joe in Simsbury. It's the Hamden Heckler.
Some patchy fog forming late.
I can't believe it.
51. Thursday, we'll have some patchy fog in the morning. Otherwise, a mostly sunny and beautiful day, the high of 83. Another gorgeous day to round out the week, though quite warm on Friday. We'll have some patchy morning fog. It'll be partly sunny, the high of 88. Saturday, mostly sunny. Beautiful start to the weekend, the high of 86. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and throwing a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Sunny skies and 77 degrees in Hartford. Several school districts received threats today. None appeared credible. Threats reported in the districts in Wethersfield, Avon, and North Haven. In the latter, police were called to the high school, middle school campus, and a shelter in place was put into effect, this following comments about possible violence. Also, a threat made to the school district in West Haven as well. It was 23 years ago today this country experienced the worst terror attack on its soil. And there were gatherings across the country to remember the victims of the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks. Secretary of State Lloyd Austin spoke at a remembrance ceremony this morning at the Pentagon.
May the memory of the fallen be a blessing. May God provide comfort to all who mourn. May God protect our troops, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Names of the nearly 3,000, including 161 with ties to our state, were read at Ground Zero at a ceremony in Lower Manhattan this morning. Also a ceremony in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where one of the planes that was apparently headed to D.C. that day was overtaken by the passengers who overtook the terrorists and prevented that from happening. That ceremony at the Connecticut Fire Academy in Windsor Locks today to honor those with state ties. With 9/11 illnesses persisting, P.J. Norwood, the director of training at the academy, said that should be top of mind going forward.
I think funding and mental health support to make sure that they have everything that they need, from their medical insurance coverage to other costs that may come up for themselves and their family.
Audio from WFSB. The governor's office has positive reviews for the historically troubled state pension fund. That fund is now up to $57 billion. The state treasurer, Eric Russell, says it grew 11.5% in fiscal 24, up from an 8.5% increase in the previous year.
3 years ago, our assets under management were $44 billion. 10 years ago, our assets under management were just north of $29 billion. What's reflected in that is almost a complete doubling of the size of our assets under management over the last decade, with incredibly significant progress over the last 2 to 3 years.
Citing improved asset allocation for the success, Russell says the state is paying down legacy pension debt faster than it was prior. Governor Lamont says retirements for teachers and state workers are secure. City of Hartford, the Chamber of Commerce, and merchants are creating a partnership to turn the capital city into somewhat of a college town. The College Kickbacks program affords discounts in such things as dining, entertainment, and shopping. The program is open to all college students in Connecticut. They need only show their student IDs to take part. This is Hartford Mayor Arunan Arulampalam.
We want college students to know that Hartford is the place to be. And now through this college discount program, you're going to have discounts on everything from meals and coffee and haircuts to free shows at Hartford Stage.
University of St. Joseph President Rona Free says it's a way to appeal to the 30,000 or so college students in the area, including those from her university, as well as UConn, UHart, and Trinity. Wall Street, the Dow up 124 points, the NASDAQ up 369, and the S&P gained 58 points today. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck.
Come on, man.
Set for ourselves, have a pretty clear course. I want a trip to Nashville, so you read a couple of reviews, talk to a few friends, save up some money, and book it. Maybe a couple of choices along the way, but overall, it's a clear course to reach your goal. Now, if your goal is to lose 40 or 50 pounds, where's the clear path? You read reviews, talk with a few friends, and try something out. When it doesn't work, you're disappointed. We've all been there, and it sucks. You know what I say? Stop trying. Do what I did and start doing. Reach your goal with Awaken 180. It's a clear course to success without the disappointment. No guesswork, no trial and error, and no medication side effects. I'm proof. I dropped 80 pounds my first go at it, and it was simple. A word never associated with weight loss, except when referring to Awaken 180. Choose the simple, clear course to success with the solution for weight loss. Set your course today by calling 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800, or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
You're listening to Reese.
Coming right in.
Filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man.
Today in the 5 o'clock focus, I've got to ask the dumbest question I thought that I could ever ask about a political, about a political debate. And I'm sorry, folks, but you got to hear it for yourself. Does this really make a difference? Really?
I've never been impressed by celebrity endorsements. I think they are helpful to the base that you already have. They tend to be people who the base already identifies with. This is someone who crosses it all. This is, I think, the most important celebrity endorsement we've ever seen in a presidential campaign, especially because it is so close and it can make that kind of difference.
That is Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC last night talking about the celebrity endorsement of none other than Taylor Swift. What is your view? Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris last night. Does it change anything? Are we going to see Taylor Swift? I mean, are we going to see Kamala Harris support go through the roof? Honest to goodness. Like, or will it do the exact opposite? Will it actually ignite an anti-Kamala Harris revolt that will destroy her campaign? Seriously. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that it actually happened last night. There were breaking news on MSNBC and CNN. People take it. You're supposed to take this woman seriously. This woman is supposed to be the second coming of Barack Hussein Obama. And the only thing that these folks can talk about is Beyonce at the DNC, which never happened, and a Taylor Swift endorsement. Have we gotten to the silly sauce yet? Are we at this silly spot? I mean, what else could happen? What else could possibly happen? But this is kind of dumb. Do you think it makes any deal? I'd love to hear from you. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. Let's get again into the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Mark, let me ask you this. Instead of the Taylor Swift thing, who do you, in any campaign, if you had to think of a celebrity that would make a mark on getting people to vote for a candidate, forget about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, just any celebrity you think that would make a mark on a political campaign, who would be that influential, dead or alive? Dead or alive?
Let's see. Jesse Ventura. He was a politician. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, that would be a celebrity that you think would make or break?
Ronald Reagan was a celebrity.
Okay, how about this one? I'll go one better, okay? Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people respected Sinatra.
I would believe so.
My time, but you know what? I could care less what a celebrity thinks.
I know. I really do believe that.
Why people like, okay, so some young person's going to vote for X candidate because Taylor Swift's voting for that person. It's like Taylor Swift has more money than God. It doesn't matter who's in
exactly
Taylor Swift. She can afford any stupid policy that they're going to pass.
Exactly. If there was a 90% tax on people who made money like Taylor Swift, she'd still be living well.
Right. So it's going to influence some 18 or 19. Oh, I'm going to vote for Taylor because she said to vote for this person.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they get their first paycheck and they're like, I love high school kids. They get their first job.
Oh yeah.
And they're so they're what's the minimum wage now? $15 an hour.
Yeah.
They're thinking, oh, I worked 8 hours, so that's it's $8.
$7.
Well, yeah. So you go 8 times 15, that's 80, and then so $120, and they're going, how come I only have $70 on my paycheck?
Exactly.
They don't understand.
What the hell is FICA?
Yeah, what's that all about? What's this Social Security thing?
Yeah.
What's this family leave thing I got to pay for?
Yep.
Yeah, and they're looking at it, they're like, what happened to all my money? How come I didn't get $120?
Yeah.
And, but they'll still vote for these people.
Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor. Yeah, thanks. Taylor can vote for anybody. It doesn't matter to her who's in there. It's not going to affect her one bit. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, thank you. Heading into Hartford, southbound 91, look for delays 33, down to 32 A and B. And again, a little slow down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weather Center line. Slowing again down by exit 18 in Meriden. Northbound 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84, tied up just after 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound locked up approaching 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. 291's a little slow. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 2 eastbound moves well. Glastonbury Waterbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound Middletown, slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, a little tight by 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound in Newtown, delays 9 up to exit 11. And 95 southbound, you've got slow traffic from 48 down to exit 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a beautiful day, clear to partly cloudy tonight with some areas of fog forming late, the low down to 51. Obviously, we'll have some areas of fog on Thursday morning. Otherwise, it'll be mostly sunny, very pleasant, the high of 83. Rinse and repeat for Friday, areas of morning fog, otherwise partly sunny and very warm to round out the week. The high moving up to 88 on Friday. Then on Saturday, mostly sunny, beautiful start to the weekend, the high of 86. And another great day Sunday to round out the weekend with partly sunny skies, the high of 84. Right now, Bristol 77, New Haven at 75, Hartford 77. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
With vacations over and busy schedules back, don't forget your dental care. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester is open 7 days a week with late hours to fit your busy routine. Call 860-730-6030 or visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The days are shorter and the temperature is starting to drop. Remember, the local weather information you need is right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Accurate local weather information with Bob Cox and the WTIC weather team. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8th and around the clock. The local fall weather information you need is on WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, your smart speaker, or on the free Odyssey app.
Men, though it really does go without saying, practicing better medicine almost always means better outcomes for patients. And if you suffer with erectile dysfunction, you certainly want a good outcome. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And because we do practice better medicine, we're the leader in treating men's sexual health issues in the Northeast. ED is a terrible condition. It causes stresses in relationships. It creates anxiety and undue hardships on a man and often on their partner as well. Yet many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But I want to tell you today that you can be free of ED. Seriously, if you're like most men, the treatments we offer at Northeast Men's Health will work for you. In fact, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means you can likely enjoy great sex again without the stress that ED can create. You might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
It may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot
Still
of
got
us
Tim?
like in our basement or garage. By switching to a natural water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navient's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit retirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the 5 o'clock focus. It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. Oh, I hit the wrong button. It's right. We're back. It's Reese on the Radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. I had a friend who loved this record. Oh.
You like this
I
joint?
hated this group. I hated Super Lover C and Casanova Rudd. Am I right?
You are correct.
Oh, God, I hated them. They had another song called Do the James. He loved that record.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I know you would, yeah. Back to the phones. We will go in a second, but the 5 o'clock focus, again, Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC, and, of course, everyone at MSNBC, and, of course, what's his name? Rachel Maddow and his little sister, Chris Hayes, over at MSNBC. They were over there talking about this, and they just love this story so much. It's such the greatest thing.
I've never been impressed by celebrity endorsements. I think they are helpful to the base that you already have. They tend to be people who the base already identifies with. This is someone who crosses it all. This is, I think, the most important celebrity endorsement we've ever seen in a presidential campaign, especially because it is so close and it can make that kind of difference.
It can make that kind of difference. Sure it can. Oh, man. Who is it who wrote in the... Oh, Michael A. says... think about all the 13-year-old girls going to the polls. Congratulations, Taylor. It's incredible. It makes me laugh all the time. Thank you, Shirley. Much appreciated. But don't worry, you can always come here. Let's get back to the phones. We held him over, and I'm glad he's on the line. Tim is in Hamden. I'm sure you're going to opine about something else, but we'll let you opine about the 5 o'clock focus because you've been on hold for a little bit. What you got for me?
Well, a couple of quick things. First, 9/11 and everything. Were you in New York City for the first World Trade Center bombing?
In 1993? In February of 1993, yes, I was.
Yeah, it's like people seem to forget that there was a bombing there before in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And so we let our guard down. Bush let his guard down. Even Ralph Nader said that the cockpit doors should be locked.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple kind of thing, but they refused to do that. And then there was, of course, the memo that said Bin Laden determined to fly planes into buildings.
In fact, if you remember, the Blind Sheik were one of the people who were prosecuted in the 1993 bombing, but one of the cohorts of the 93 bombing openly said during his arrest that Osama bin Laden would come after those buildings again.
Oh, absolutely. And, of course, then the bin Laden family was all swept up and taken out of the country.
That's,
and everything.
again, I don't want to get into that because everybody gets that story wrong. That gets that story wrong, so I don't want to go there because then I got to litigate a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, was there something else that you wanted to address?
Yeah, second off, this whole Haitian thing. By the way, apparently Joe is now calling me, Tim the Heckler.
Hampton Heckler. Hey, dude, that's better than
but
people.
Then he goes online and says I'm from Wallingford.
Oh, okay. Well,
Tim
who cares?
So it's crazy.
Tim, you get into the weeds too much. Let's go back to the point about the Haitians, which I'm sure you want to bring up. Let's go.
Yeah, let me just say that, when you get on the radio and say that Haitians are cannibals,
Who said that?
That they have low IQs.
Who said that?
Joe did that. Joe.
Wait, he said that during his phone call with me? Hold on. Did he say that with his phone call with me?
He said it on,
Okay, then I don't care what he said anywhere else. I want you to address who cares about what. Listen, with all due respect, Joe is allowed his own opinion. You don't have to like it. He's allowed his own opinion.
It's racist.
So what do you mean it's racist? Hold on. Are cannibals? Wait. Tim, let me. I'm going to address you in a second, but I want you to say. So you're not allowed to say that they're cannibals. Have you watched any of the videos of the Haitian riots that are happening in Haiti? Did you see any of them? Because I did. Did you see?
Yeah, the absolute riots and gangs.
Did you see any of the videos of people eating other people? Have you seen them? Because I have. Have you seen them?
So basically.
You didn't answer my question. Did you see them or not?
I saw
Then don't say that there's no cannibalism.
Does that mean everybody in Haiti?
I didn't suggest that. But don't listen. When you said, listen, what you did said was an absolute. You said there are none. And then I asked you if there were any videos that you saw, and you said you did. So therefore, the none.
Large population.
Nobody suggested the large population.
People in Connecticut, there's a good size. Perhaps you could have them on your show. To kind of counterbalance.
Oh, so let me get this right. Hold on. Let me get this right. Stop for a second. I'm going to give you a second to respond, but I want to stop you for a second.
People are invading us.
I want to stop you for a second.
That's what it's about.
This is what I want to stop you with. See, here's the thing that I don't seem to understand. Everyone who is holier than thou wants to start off with it's not happening. And when you say that, I like the English language, Tim. It's not happening means that is zero sum. It is not. No. Stop. We're going to give you an opportunity to speak. I'm speaking now.
No, I won't.
If I got to put you on, then you'll wait. And if I don't, then you can say that I didn't. I'm going to say this. It's not happening is a zero-sum remark. That's what that means, okay? I did not take a cookie means no cookie left the place. It's not happening. And then when people give an account of it happening, then people say, well, it's not everyone. But wait a minute. Your earlier remark said it didn't happen. It's zero-sum. So don't start switching midstream. You have to admit, oh, crap, there are videos of people actually eating folks. So therefore, the zero-sum is null and void. So please, you talk about this absolute. You talk about this absolute. Slow down with the absolutes. Yes, you can now.
Look, Trump, the only thing he had was essentially, the fear factor. When asked about, healthcare and everything else last night, he dodged the question. He didn't, even though he's, running for president, he doesn't have an answer for that. He's only got fear. He's got fear, and he didn't. Of course, he put the kibosh on the immigration thing so he can say, look, these invaders, these scary boogeymen are coming in and stuff. And then when
dude, don't stand on the fear. Don't stand on the boogeyman nonsense. Dude, you've been killing the boogeyman argument for the longest. You've been calling the man a boogeyman since 2015. Please slow it down with him boogeymanning other people. You're a hypocrite when you sit up here and talk about how Donald Trump boogeyman's people when you've been calling the guy Hitler for the last 9 years. Slow your roll. Listen, no offense, Tim, it becomes laughable. I'll say it this way. English here. It becomes laughable when you start talking about boogeymen in the same context with Donald Trump. Please do not bore me.
He used the term they're going to get
my friend
sweeping up your pets.
Yeah, he said they. Did he say Haitians? Did he say Haitians? Did he say Haitians? Did he use them by? Did he say them by name? Oh, he knew. They knew.
The invaders, all of them from outside, because it's the only thing he's
Tim?
got. And I'm not a fan of Kamala Harris. She's absolutely. But when you kill the immigration bill, you have only left, these invaders from the outside that are different. And Joe uses the term, they're not assimilating. They're these outside fearful people coming in with a different culture, and they're going to,
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. So let me make this clear. I'm going to ask you this question. Let me explain this to you. This I'm going to say this to you. So let's say you live in a Christian community where everybody loves each other and gets along. Okay? Would you leave your car window down with your wallet sitting on the dash when you go inside the house and go to bed? Would you do it? You live in a community.
No.
You live in a gated community with nothing but Christian-loving, God-fearing, very friendly people. Would you leave your wallet sitting on the dash and go inside and go to bed? Would you do it?
When in the 1930s, would you?
No. Today. No. I said today. Don't go to 1930s. I asked you a legitimate question. All right, now you got to cut him off. If he can't answer the question, I'll ask him one more time. Can you answer it? I didn't think so. Again, this zero sum, and it's such a liberal talking point. It's always, it ain't happening. And then when you point to times when it's happening, it's going, but it ain't everybody. But you just told me it wasn't happening. You said it wasn't. And then when it is, then you all of a sudden switch the goalpost. It's happening. I played audio for you. It doesn't have to be everyone. It's happening. It's the same case. It's like asking police officers shouldn't go into domestic situations with their guns drawn. Okay, should they leave them in the car? Well, no, that would be crazy. So what do? Wait for the fight to come outside onto the street? There is no such thing as a zero sum. No such thing. But if you address it, if you even bring it up, that there are 5 people who are engaged in certain behavior, they want to make it like you mean everyone. And so that means that every claim that you make is illegitimate because it's not all of them. But it's happening. And it's a group of people from a particular place that are behaving or engaging in a particular behavior. Those people are engaging in a particular behavior. If they're killing the geese in that community, There are 4 of them that we know because there's a record of it. There's a police call that we have. They have the audio. We played it. And that means that 4 people are engaged with taking geese out of a city park and putting them in a Tacoma, a Toyota or something, and driving off. So now all of a sudden it means what? Well, it was only 4 people. It happened. You told us it wasn't. So please knock it off. No one's falling for the okey doke. It's silly. Everybody in this argument is silly. We know what's happening. We know what's happening in this community. And you may not like it. You may want everybody in. But guess what? You're not going to feel that way when it affects you. When it's your life, your community, your house, your block, your duck, your geese, your cat. When you can't find your meow meow, you can have a different point of view. Let's be honest. Huh? You sit in your own little spot and you sit on there and look down on everybody else. It's like, oh, he's a bigot. He's a racist. He doesn't want to accept people. I don't see you opening your doors. I don't see you opening your door wide open and saying, nah, bring them in. These are the greatest people ever to touch our land. I don't see you running down to immigration saying, hey, come on over here, Trevor. I've got a room for you. Please. Spare me. Spare me. I got to take a break. I got so many phone calls to get into it. And just stick around. Give me a minute, and we'll get into it. I can't even play all the audio that I got. It's like, I feel like I should have 5 hours to do the show with so many clips to play. Just way too much. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher for one more time. How we doing out there, Mark?
We're doing pretty good, Reese. No major issues out here at this point. And if you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91 in Hartford, delays 33 down to 32. Again, 27 to 28. Northbound 91, no issues. Cromwell up into the Windsor exits. Westbound 84 slowing just after 56 up to 47 Sigourney Street downtown. 84 eastbound tied up about a half mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulky Bridge. 2 eastbound running slow off of I-84 east onto Route 2. You're slow out to exit 5C in East Hartford. 291 eastbound's a little tight. I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. Heading into Middletown, 9 northbound delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury slightly slow. 84 eastbound by 18. 84 westbound. Once again, you'll lose some speed between exit 23 and 22 as you head in toward the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing by 3 in Danbury. 84 eastbound and Danbury slowing again 8 out to exit 11 in Newtown. South 95 tight 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of today, partly sunny and absolutely gorgeous. The high of 80 degrees. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy skies. There'll be some patchy fog forming late. It'll be comfortable with the low down to 51. Some patchy fog for Thursday morning. Otherwise, another mostly sunny, beautiful late summer day with the high of 83. A light breeze out of the south. Clear to partly cloudy skies Thursday night. Again, some patchy late night fog forming. The low down to 56. Friday starts with some patchy morning fog. Otherwise, a partly sunny and very warm day to round out the week. The high of 88 with a light breeze out of the southwest. Gorgeous weekend ahead. Saturday looking outstanding, mostly sunny. Great start to the weekend with the high of 86. Sunday, partly sunny. Nice day for outdoor activities. A light breeze out of the east-northeast and the high of 82. Monday, sunshine, the high right back to 82 to kick off the week. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
The days are shorter and the temperature is starting to drop. Remember, the local weather information you need is right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. Accurate local weather information with Bob Cox and the WTIC weather team. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8th and around the clock. The local fall weather information you need is on WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, your smart speaker, or on the free Odyssey app. And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, Hartford temperature 77 degrees under sunny skies. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. There were a number of threats made to school districts across Connecticut today. In North Haven, a shelter-in-place was in effect when a staff member was alerted to comments threatening violence, police said on their social media. There was also a threat made against a school in West Haven, as well as threats toward districts of Wethersfield, that one from out of state, as well as Avon. Connecticut has logged the first animal case of eastern equine encephalitis. That from the Department of Agriculture says Triple E was detected in an unvaccinated horse in Fairfield County. The 23-year-old horse was experiencing neurological issues and ultimately tested positive. There have been no cases of the mosquito-borne illness thus far in Connecticut this year. Americans pause today to remember the nearly 3,000 who died at the hands of terrorists on this date 23 years ago. A ceremony in Lower Manhattan took place at the precise time the first plane hit one of the World Trade Center towers. Ceremonies were also held at the Pentagon and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where the other plane went down. There was a ceremony earlier today at the Connecticut Fire Academy in Windsor Locks. Flags will fly at half-staff here in the state through dusk. Secretary of State Blinken announced more than $700 million in aid for Ukraine during a visit to Kyiv today, aiming to bolster the energy grid that Russia has repeatedly targeted with an expected difficult winter ahead. And one person remains hospitalized following a shooting last night in Norwalk. Police say they received the call to an area of Strawberry Hill Avenue just before 9:30. The victim had already been taken to Norwalk Hospital by the time police arrived and is now listed in serious condition. Markets finished up on Wall Street today. The Dow gained 124 points. The Nasdaq was up 369 and the S&P ahead 58 points. Baseball on the radio tonight. It's the Orioles and Red Sox from Fenway, 6:10 the pregame. The Yanks finish up a three-game series with the Royals at the stadium, and the Mets are in Toronto. Eastern League, the Argoats at Akron. You can catch that game at 6:35 p.m. on the Odyssey app. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Before you tour a home, the real estate professional you're working with may ask you to sign a buyer's agreement, which describes the services you'll receive, each party's role and responsibilities, and how your agent will be compensated, all of which you'll want to discuss with them up front. So work with an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors with a duty to honestly represent you and put your interests above their own, because that's who we are.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two have geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows. And save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC+. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's PHILO.TV.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
It's the 5 o'clock focus.
I'm focused, man. So much stuff to get into, and I promise you we are going to get to your phone calls in the 5 o'clock focus. Taylor Swift, celebrity endorsements, does it mean anything, or will it just cause people to just start screaming and hollering, I'm voting for the other guy because of this? Somebody put a meme, and I've seen it all day. It was like a woman who has, women who makes bad choices about men tells people who to vote for. It's funny. It's just fun. It's funny that people are raving about it, but We'll get into that a little bit. Don't forget, of course, check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com, ReeseOnTheRadio.com. This one is for the scallywags. Now, why did I come up with the term scallywag? Let me explain it to you. I've always liked that word when I was a kid. I don't know when I heard it, but I thought it was just funny. And it just became a thing that I did when I started the show. What's going on, scallywags? It's Reese on the Radio. And because of I love the way words sound, the texture of them, scallywags just felt good. It didn't really have a meaning, but I really do believe there's no such thing as coincidence. I really do. I believe there's no such thing. So my friend Apple sent this to me, and I knew this already, but she sent this to me when she went to the website and she went to go find out about the T-shirts that are on there on ReeseOnTheRadio.com. And there are 2 T-shirts. One that has a little lapel, actually it's on the left-hand side with a, remember the Hello, My Name Is little sticker? Well, we have a T-shirt with a Hello, My Name Is. Well, instead, this one says, Hello, I am a scallywag on there. Here's the definition of scallywag. There are 2. First one, a person who behaves badly, but in an amusingly mischievous rather than harmful way. A rascal. I love that definition. And I think it's apropos for people who I call my scallywags on the Reese on the Radio Rundown. But here's another one. And again, I don't believe in coincidences. A white Southerner who collaborated with Northern Republicans during Reconstruction, often for personal profit. The term was used divisively or derisively by white Southern Democrats who opposed Reconstruction legislation. Scallywag. So the T-shirt reads, hello, I am a scallywag. So if you're interested in a shirt, I'd appreciate it if you contribute. But go check them out at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I'm very, very proud. I'm proud of that shirt more than anything because my wife came up with the idea, the concept and everything. And I was like, and then to get that definition, to know that definition, it's perfect. It's right in my wheelhouse. And I appreciate my wife. She's brilliant. And she thinks outside the box. And it's probably my favorite of all the shirts. It is. By far, it's my favorite of all the shirts. But if you're interested, go check it out at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. Now, let's get to the BPS Traffic Center and Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're heading into Hartford right now on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Minor slowdown as you approach exit 19 to 18 in Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84, you're on the brakes. Approaching the Boakey Bridge to 47 Sigourney Street, 84 eastbound delays. About a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue, and it stays tight right up into the downtown tunnel. 291, 384 looking good east of the river. 2 eastbound slowing off of I-84 out to exit 5A in East Hartford. If you're heading toward Middletown, that looks good. 9 in the Aragodi Bridge, Waterbury, okay, 84 and 8 through the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown delayed 9 up to exit 11. Southbound Parkway, you've got some slow traffic from 61 down to 60 in Hamden. 95 southbound New Haven slowing from 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. It's been another beautiful day. We've got a great night ahead of us. Clear to partly cloudy skies, cool and comfy with some areas of fog forming late. The low down to 51. Areas of fog for Thursday morning. Otherwise, a mostly sunny and beautiful day with a high of 83. Friday, again, some areas of morning fog. Otherwise, a partly sunny and very warm day to round out the week with the high moving up to 88. There'll be a light breeze out of the southwest Friday. Saturday, beautiful start to the weekend. Mostly sunny. Great late summer day. The high of 86. Partly sunny. Another great day on Sunday with the high of 84. And sunny right into next week on Monday with the high of 82. We've had a great day, and currently it's 76 in Bristol, Danbury at 73, Mansfield 75, and 77 still in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Remember, for all station contest rules, go to WTIC.com/rules.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. Mike, who lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, was in the same position I was in. you're most likely in. Confused.
I spent so much money on personal trainers in the last 10 years. Didn't have a lot of discretionary income left. So I tried to listen to everybody else. What do you eat? You know, everyone said, eat healthy. Define eating healthy. Cut out sugar. Tell me what foods don't have sugar. So their process to me was an education. That was really the eye-opening thing to me is I had 10 choices of food in front of me every day. You know, when I was on the run in sales, I was making 8 bad choices. I wasn't eating the 2 good ones. And I loved the 2 good ones. I just didn't know they were good. So I made bad choices every single day. In the program, Gonna Awaken 180, really changed my mind, opened my eyes up to, it was a true education on food, what to eat, what not to eat, and it's been fantastic.
Knowing what to eat. The ability to navigate nutrition labels. A proven, clear path for weight loss. And exactly what you will receive with Awaken 180. Leave confusion at the door and do what we did. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Warning, the following spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated.
Is one of them
forlorn,
feelings?
Like your
Because I
efforts
hate
are
that
futile,
word.
and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who
Oh, boy.
fine.
I feel a certain
Fortunately,
way.
ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix
Your
it
feelings is not logic.
for free at ZipRecruiter.com.
And it's just because you feel it and you may feel that it's the most right thing in the world, you could be absolutely wrong.
You've clearly had this issue, haven't you?
On ZipRecruiter, get a quality candidate with
You can always tell. You bring it up and the guys just go, ugh.
Need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people. Get ready to meet. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080. Forget about me. Let's get right to the phone calls. People have been on hold for the longest, and I appreciate you suffering through Tim and Hamden. Let's get right to it. Jeff is in Marlboro. How you doing, big guy?
Hey, I'm doing all right. Appreciate you calling me big guy.
What's up, sir?
So I heard you and some of the listeners discussing refusal to assimilate into American culture.
Indeed.
And a friend of mine works in the same line of business that I do. And at his shop, he has a great deal of immigrants from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
And this big issue they always have with them is that apparently in Guatemala, a lot of the, especially rural areas, you don't flush the toilet paper down the toilet. You throw it in the garbage. So he's had to talk to them time and time and time again, and they still refuse to do it. So the garbage is always full, or they even throw it on just on the floor sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And it's completely unsanitary and disgusting, and you know, you run the risk of spreading disease. You know, this is not a country where we spread cholera all around. And,
I think that a lot of people in those situations think that, you know, America just has these free services that they get their garbage picked up all the time. You know, just put it out on the curb and people come and show up and pick it up. I think that that's what they believe, and it keeps piling up. And they look around and goes, "Hey, you know, no one's picked up the garbage. Oh, they must be doing something else." It's really weird, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
But just, I mean, after, he's told them time and time again, after you use the bathroom, it goes in the toilet. In America, it goes in the toilet, and we deal with it that way. And they just won't do it. It's just.
Yeah,
it's been going on. It's been going on for 3 years now, and they just won't do it. So,
and you know what you have to ask yourself, Jeff, is that if they don't, what do you do about it? It's like, do you just let it persist? It's like, at what point, like, what is your recourse after a while? And unfortunately, it turns out to be nothing, because it eventually persists, and the next thing you know, the neighborhood just looks like hell. Because you have no.
Well, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not even just, it's not the neighborhood or anything like that. It's at his work.
Right.
And it's just like, you know, it just, for years now. It's been going on, and he just can't get it through their skulls that in America we put it down the toilet.
Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Patrick's in Middletown. How we doing, Patrick?
Hey, Reese.
What's up, sir?
Are you there?
Yes, yeah, I got you.
I'm not going to call and rant about the VA today. I've made leaps and bounds with regard to my health care.
Okay, that's
Not
good.
with housing, but with health care.
That's good.
Because I simply put people in their place. But I want you to do 60 seconds of radio silence for my fellow first responders.
We actually we did kind of give a tribute earlier today, but don't worry.
Well, I've been on hold for hours and hours.
Oh, have you really? Well, Patrick, I apologize for that, but I promise you we began the show showing our respect.
Frank from Woodbridge didn't call you today and say, I want a memorial silence for our first responders.
Well, Frank did call from Woodbridge.
And thank God he didn't beat us over the head to tell us to buy gold again, because we're all getting tired of that.
Well, Patrick, was there anything?
How about 30 seconds of silence?
We
That's
actually
all we gotta do.
We actually did, but you know
30
what?
seconds.
I will definitely give it some thought, but I can't have radio silence. It's just something I can't do. Just legally, I can't, but I appreciate where you're coming from. Okay? Just because I don't run the license, I don't have the license to do that, but I appreciate where you're coming from, and all of us agree with you that, of course, we should pay respect to our first responders, especially on a day like today, without a doubt. I hope you can understand that. Thank you, Patrick. Let's go to Matt in Bristol. What's up, good friend? And whoever's giving me hell about the pricing on the T-shirt, those things they're not cheap to produce. But anyway, yes, go ahead, Matt.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins.
How we doing, Matt?
Good, man. Yeah, I was on the line before. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. I don't know what happened.
No problem. What's going on, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm so excited about the T-shirts because I was so jealous when I didn't win one. I'm like, oh, God, I hope he sells them because I want to buy one so friggin' bad. I want to rock that Reese on the Radio T-shirt more than anything.
Well, go to the site so you can look at it. I told you, when I saw it, you were the first person. I kid you not. I'm not blowing smoke. When my wife showed me the design, I said, oh, my God, Matt's going to love this shirt. You're the first person I thought of.
Yeah, as soon as I heard you say scallywag, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the one.
Absolutely. Anyway, what did you want to opine about? I'm sorry.
I'm going to pat myself on the back for once. I never do this.
All right.
Man, I called in the other day before the debate, and I said, listen, the questions are going to seem fair, but here's what they're going to do. They're going to play both sides of the coin. The questions will seem fair, but then they're going to fact check Trump and only Trump, and they're never going to ask Kamala any follow-up questions at all.
And you were spot on.
Spot on. Like, that's exactly what happened. Now, don't get me wrong. Trump blew that. He could have made such a better impression.
You think so?
And absolutely. She played him like a fiddle.
Okay.
Like,
Unfortunately, I really disagree with a lot of people on this. But you know what? To each his own. Like I said, I think I look at this in a completely different. People think that I'm actually playing Trump up, but I'm not. Trump did not have what everyone else wanted him to have, and that was the knockout of Kamala Harris. But that was never going to happen on an ABC debate, which is what I said yesterday. ABC's job was to save her campaign so that she didn't end up looking like Joe Biden at the CNN debate. And they would go through anything they could. They would do anything they could to make sure that she did not look bad, even embarrassing themselves. But again, they had nothing to lose. Do you know what the ratings are this morning? I mean, this afternoon for ABC in the debate? Do you know what their ratings were?
No.
18 million. 18 million people watched the debate on ABC. ABC alone.
Is that good or bad?
That's great. That's fantastic. Listen, ABC got 18 million. NBC got 9. Fox News was in third with 8. MSNBC with 6. CBS got 5. Fox got 4. We're talking Fox, regular Fox, the local Fox. and CNN got 4. Okay, so they got 18. ABC got 18 million. They knew that. Why? Because they're a basic cable network. Every person got basic. They don't have Fox News is not a basic cable channel. You have to pay for that. ABC News doesn't have to worry about it. They're not hemorrhaging viewers. They're on average, on a good night, is 9 to 10 million viewers. Fox News on a great night is 4.5. They didn't owe anybody anything. They could do whatever they want.
But you don't think that, in general, what we all were saying is he has to stay disciplined, not take the bait, and stay on message. You don't think he strayed from that?
At times, yes. I will concede that. I will concede that. But I got to go on. I got 2 more people I got to get to, Matt. I have 2 more people I have to get to, Matt, but just go to the website. You can check out the T-shirt. All right? I promise you. And I want to get everybody in. Rick is in Cheshire, and Ron, stand by. I promise I will get to you. Rick, how are you, sir?
How we doing, buddy? So Taylor Swift, Big Nothing Burger. If you want to find the endorsement, if you want to find a celebrity endorsement, find a celebrity that can move the needle, this needle here. What do you think the voting demographic that participates at the lowest level every cycle except for first-year nationalized citizens? What voting demographic do you think that is?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. I couldn't even think of that. But that's one I want that for the old noggin. So who is that?
You should, yeah, and especially if you were like, I don't know, a politician, you'd want to know who consistently doesn't show up. And I'll tell you who they are. It's the non-college educated white.
Really?
They consistently lead in not showing up. So
Wow.
all of those votes that are there, right? So
That's those.
what
In
is
essence, you're
Kamala
saying
Harris?
a celebrity endorsement would have to convey that to that particular audience in order for it to move a needle.
That's the biggest bucket that doesn't participate.
Right.
You're in a narrow, razor thin election, and you have these working class, because if you're not college educated, you would think that you're probably working class, maybe middle class if you're working really hard, maybe upper lower class. What does Kamala Harris's America have to offer a working class, non-college educated white person?
Zero.
That doesn't participate.
Zero. Every one of her policies goes to some sort of equity program. She even made that so much clear.
So you would think that somebody in some campaign headquarters somewhere, even before now that we're about 60 days out, would have wanted to maybe specifically laser focused target on that. I understand how campaigns run.
But hold on. You bring up a good point, Rick, because Donald Trump leads in that demographic, right?
He does, but there's a ton that don't vote still.
But I'm saying. So, but I want to stick to the theme of a celebrity. If there's a celebrity that's going to move the needle, because I want to stick to that particular theme. But you make a very, very good point. You would have to find that one person who would motivate that group. And I think I know that. And I know
who that is.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Who do you think that is?
Oh, no. Well, it would probably be, right now, Joe Rogan.
Wow. I was going to go somewhere else. I was going to say Eminem.
He's really big with, obviously, white American younger men.
Yes.
And he probably has. I'm just going on sheer numbers and eyeballs.
Sure.
Because could you imagine if someone put together like a small, quick little video or something on TikTok or short form media that showed the map with an election super narrowly won by Kamala Harris, and it showed the blue and the red and how narrow it was.
Right.
And then you showed over here what would have happened if these non-participatory people who are still available to vote, but if you took 30% of those and you got them into the blue column, into the red column, the map would go blowout across the board.
Yeah, it's a good point. Joe Rogan is perfect.
New York.
I was going to say Eminem, but I think Joe Rogan's a better pick. I think you're 100% right about that. Joe Rogan, he's kind of like, he's got a huge following, and it's primarily with that demographic. non-college educated whites, primarily men.
Mm-hmm.
You're right on the mark. Yeah, I think you're right over the target. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that.
Yep. I'll see you, buddy.
You got it, man. All right, last but not least, Ron is in East Windsor. How we doing, sir?
Going on? How you doing, Reese?
Pretty good.
Good. Along with 9/11, along with things that happened that we also could not forget Benghazi too, because that also happened on 9/11. You don't hear nothing about that in the news.
Yeah.
That foiled attempt that day. Also, I was going to be good today. I wasn't going to drink until Tim called. And it's amazing. And there goes that. Now the whiskey bottle's out. No, you get these people who are so upset about what Trump says in the boogeyman. Okay.
I couldn't believe he used the word.
Yeah. If only people had the same passion of the people who are getting raped and killed by these people.
Indeed.
Where is the passion for Lake and Riley? Where's the passion for the 12-year-old girl? Where's the passion for the people in the Denver apartments getting taken over? Where is the passion? It's like when Al Dean came out with the song, try this in a small town. Yeah. Everybody was in uproar about, oh my
Ron,
God.
do you have to understand? Do you know where they're concerned for those people? It's hidden.
Yes.
In their contempt. It's hidden in their contempt for America. That's where it's hidden. Because again, those people are a necessary sacrifice to do what? To destroy the country.
Right. You get the same people who are mad about Al Dean coming up with a song about calling out the bullcrap in this country, but not the people that are responsible for the bullcrap in the country.
Hey, like I said, what did I tell you? That most people are screaming and hollering. It was like I said that thing about T-Boz when she burned down Andre Rison's home, right? That he didn't buy her a pair of sneakers, so she burns down the entire place, and they make her the victim. It's always the case.
That was left eye, right?
Yeah, exactly, left eye. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I said T-Boz. I meant to say left eye. Thank you, buddy. I got to get up out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, folks, with, of course, more news, more views. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you, and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I can't believe this is going by so fast. It goes by so fast. It just goes by so fast, and I feel like I've left so much on the table. But we got it. We have another day to do it tomorrow. Don't forget, check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com. And, of course, our last check of the traffic, I should say, not weather, the traffic, with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Maybe he'll tell you if there's some weather out there.
Let me tell you, let's keep the weather just the way it is.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Absolutely perfect, yeah.
Indeed.
Have a great night, Reese.
Thank you, man. You
too.
too.
Downtown Hartford right now. This traffic report is being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence.
All right,
sir. Oh, man. Just so much stuff, man. So much stuff.
Yeah, got to pick and choose and refuse.
I know, man.
All
right, I'll holler. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, man.
Southbound 91's a little slow at 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. Real good ride, 91 northbound. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor, 291, 384. That looks good east of.
Okay, folks. All right, again. I want to thank everybody. Of course, I always do. Listen, I don't expect everybody to want to buy a T-shirt. I understand. I promise you the quality of the T-shirt is great. Thank you so much, Melody. Much appreciated. Love you. Mwah. I do mean it. And Kathy, thank you so much. I do the back and forth with Roland so that you don't have to deal with the commercials sometimes. I like that a little bit. So I'll try to do more of it so you guys can at least you don't have to go through all the commercials, especially when you're online. I hope that you appreciate, if you want to get a T-shirt, you don't have to. My wife, I don't want to throw her under the bus. Don't make me sound like that. But she thought it was something that would be nice. We're also going to have giveaways for the shirts as well. Okay? So some of you can wait on those. But if you'd like to, we'd appreciate it. And we'll get them to you. As soon as possible. But nonetheless, thank you, folks. I appreciate you, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you back here tomorrow. All right? You guys be good to each other, please. All right? Bye-bye.